Welcome back to the Fast Life Podcast. We have a great show for you today. But first, let's get into our sponsors. Have you guys checked out the new Speed Bandit from Simpson Motorcycle Helmets? It's a fresh new helmet design that comes in at a very affordable price tag of $279. I have had the Speed Bandit for quite some time. It's super lightweight and utilizes the same visor as a Ghost Bandit. Head on over to SimpsonMotorcycleHelmets.com to check out all the models, finishes, and visor options, and also give them a follow on Instagram at Simpson Motorcycle Helmets. Lexin not only can keep your helmet banging with your favorite tunes or podcasts with the FT4 Pro, but now offers their WPC QI wireless charger, which is a water-resistant wireless charger for the Ram Mount X grip. This easy to set up system uses a battery tender style plug for easy install and will only set you back $64.95 with a 2-year unlimited warranty. You can also grab yourself a Lexin WPC and Ram X mount for $110 at lexin-moto.com. And at checkout, drop the Fast Life offer code to save yourself 15% off. And don't forget to give the team a follow on Instagram at Lexin Moto. thundermax and their ECM computers are designed to provide your EFI-equipped Harley-Davidson with the most advanced auto-tuning available. A thundermax ECM eliminates tuning hassles when upgrading your exhaust or air cleaner, or when you're adding a cam or big board kit, by simply allowing you, the user, the ability to download a base map and let the computer do the rest. Also, a hot item is their iRide rear suspension, which is a performance air ride rear suspension, giving you the ability to adjust many aspects from the handlebar mounted touchscreen. This rear suspension is the best of both worlds. Check out these products and many more at shoptmax.com and use offer code FASTLIFE to save yourself 10% off at checkout. And also, give thundermax EFI a follow on Instagram. John Jessup's Dream Rides is your hub for everything Harley-Davidson out of Stockton, California. It's a spot for in-house dyno tuning, customizing, parts, service, and bike sales. Also check out teamdreamrides.com online store to see the full array of products for your bike and you as a rider. And you can take advantage of the 100 days same as cash financing on all products. All you need is a job and a bank account. And while you're at it, give John and the team a follow at DreamRidesJohn on Instagram. Paint Huffer Metal Flake is your #1 source to get dialed in with the latest flakes, pearls, and other custom paint products. Paint Huffer has grown to become the standard in the custom paint game, and you can get down with these badass products at painthuffer.com, and you can save yourself some coin by using the FastLife20 offer code at checkout. And last but not least, you can get some inspiration by checking out all the amazing paint work created with Paint Huffer products at Paint Huffer Metal Flake on Instagram. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Fast Life Podcast. Like I said before, we got a great show with the founders and the operators of the HTX Dyna Crew. These guys formed a little group down there to kind of put on shows, events, and help inspire people to get on bikes, and I think that shit's pretty rad. And I had a great time talking with these guys. We talked a lot of shit, which is kind of what we do on this podcast, and drank some beers, and I had a good time. So I want to thank you guys for checking this out. I want to thank these guys for doing this podcast with us, and let's get right into it. Here we go.
Hey guys, you ready to let the dogs out?
Fast Life Podcast.
What do you think he's gonna go do?
I don't know.
If he jerks off back there in that like ungodly heat of Houston, Texas, what's he gonna jerk off with his own sweat?
What the fuck else is he gonna do back there?
No, he's gonna go hit the Tinder.
Yeah, we're definitely talking about Zombie Mike now because he loves being talked about on the podcast as he jerks off with his own sweat.
I think that there's some new one, right? Isn't it? It's Bumble or something. I don't know. Can't keep up.
Well, I only know you guys as the H-Town, Texas, HTX Dyna Crew. So introduce yourselves.
Go ahead, Cody. Oh, I guess I just did it for him. So,
Thanks, Don.
yeah,
There you go.
So I'm Don,
I'm Cody.
and we're just a couple of regular old dudes from Houston that I guess started the HTX Dyna Crew. It's not really a crew; it's just kind of an Instagram thing, and I don't know. It's worked out pretty good.
It's an ensemble, or however you say.
Yeah. It's super interesting. Like I don't know exactly what to call it. I don't know exactly how we got here, but it's been fun getting here. So
Yeah, it's been a ride
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, you were telling me, is this a guy that you kind of grew up, I guess not the word grew up, but you've been riding with him for years?
Yeah,
Or-
we definitely didn't grow up together. We have mutual friends that I grew up with, and Don met through work that kind of connected us. But Don moved to Houston, I don't know, 10 years ago for the first time, and he picked up a bike. He had been riding before. I've been riding my whole life, and he picked up the bike at the time, I think just to have someone to hang out with, right? Like
Yeah.
someone to go ride with. And I wasn't riding with anybody. I just went out by myself pretty much 90% of the time. And Don moved to town, bought a deluxe.
yeah,
And had that deluxe for approximately 3 weeks.
yeah.
And then bought a Road King. And I had a Road King at the time, and we rode all over the damn face of Texas and everywhere you
Nice.
go, just the two of us.
Cool.
Long time.
Dude, Deluxes are dope, man. I want one of those.
That one was not dope. I remember going out on the west side of town, and like it had no windshield. It was the worst handling bike ever, and I would try and keep up with Cody on his Road King, which sounds funny right now saying it, but that bike was just like, I felt like I was on the verge of death all the time, and so really quickly I was like, yeah, I can't be doing this.
Yeah.
This ain't my style of riding.
I've always said, man, if you could if every bike at Harley had like a picture of the guys that ride it behind the bike, I'm like, yeah, I fit in with that crowd. It would be a lot easier to sell these bikes to people because you would kind of fit in with the crowd better. I know everybody wants to say like, oh, I don't fit in. I'm the lone wolf. You know what I mean? I'm all this shit. But realistically, it's like Harleys or motorcycles in general is badass. But man, when you get a bunch of buddies that do it too, man,
Dude, it's a game changer.
it's life changing. You know
Way
what I mean?
better. Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool, man. So y'all were just kind of like ripping around Texas and stuff like that. Yeah, like, which I would say is probably better. Like, what do you do in Houston on bikes, man? Just go rip down to Galveston or
Yeah,
something?
no. So
or-
we both live on the west side, and there's a lot of nice riding out there. I mean, there's not a lot of elevation change, but there's a lot of curves you can hit.
The
And,
roads are pretty good shape. And
Yeah, roads are in good shape. Then we hit the national forest quite a bit.
Yeah,
is that like north of here, like with like the Stephen F. Austin
Yeah.
Forest or some shit like that?
Yeah.
Because I've never ridden through any of that. Like, I went to look at an FXR once in Lufkin. That's as far deep east Texas I've ever been into. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, the roads do look nice, like nice, long, kind of curvy with nice kind of scenery.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, those are his kind of rides. He likes the big sweepers and
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
favorite.
So
I that's how I am. I like it better. What's your thing?
I like going out like Twisted Sisters and
Don's
like really tight
he loves
turns.
super
Yeah.
technical.
Yeah.
Super technical turns.
I do too. They always look great on the map, but then when you're like traveling with it, so like, I guess you guys are going to Colorado here pretty
Yep.
soon. We literally just got back from there. What part of Colorado are you going to?
We're going to be staying in, I think it's Bayfield, just outside of Durango. We're going for Four Corners.
Okay, yeah. So we just did the $1 Million Highway. We stayed up in Montrose and then came through to Durango. That's a dope ride. $1 Million Highway is really nice and very scenic. But like if you do the Tail of the Dragon, it's like after a while you're like, I'm fucking over this. I'm over these curves, man. I just want to go straight for a little bit and I want to get somewhere. Because when you're doing this shit back and forth, like you're not like for me and my buddies when we travel, we're always like catching something on the way to something. So if we do the Tail of the Dragon, it's on the way to our next hotel. So it's not like we're doing the Tail of the Dragon and we're just staying right here. It's like we still got another 100 miles to do after this. And when you're doing those tight turns, you're not making it very far down the road. You know what I mean? So you're like, fuck, man, we just did all this riding and now we still got another 150 miles to do.
Yeah.
And you're kind of beat, man. But
That's the way, that's the way that the Sisters are, right?
Yeah.
You do the Sisters and it's like, you're a couple hours into it and then you realize like you get back to the hotel and you're like, damn, I'm beat.
Dude, every trip to the Sisters we have, there's a story to it, right? Like, it's always something. Like the last time it was trying to beat a cold front, like right on the way back and finishing the Sisters
Oh, yeah.
after the full day and then being like, fuck, we probably better go back to Houston today.
Yeah.
And the time before that, it's the first time we were meeting some of the DFW guys, and I was hung over as shit riding the Sisters, and definitely was not at peak performance on that ride.
There's only one of the Sisters that's really tight, though, right? It's that
the one that goes over the hill, the big mountains, The
rest of them are kind of like what I would say that you and I like, where they're kind of longer sweepers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, man, if you haven't done Talamina yet, dude, personally think it's better. And I'm not trying to be biased. It's like it's not like a very big glorified motorcycle ride. So not every hell yeah brother in Texas is out there with their whips and their ape hangers doing 10 miles an hour. So you can really get on there and just fucking rip. And, for us, it's about 150 miles north. So for you guys, it'd be about 400 miles, I think, from here.
Right. And what we would probably do is, like, we've been talking about going up and checking out some of the bike nights in North Texas. So we just get a hotel and crash up there and then go explore a little bit.
Yeah, there's not much riding in like I've been talking about this a little bit recently. Like Dallas has good, or DFW has good nighttime riding. Like our city's really lit up, so it's like when you're going across some of the highways and bridges, it's like kind of like it's just nice looking. You know what I mean? And oh, you're good with that. You got to crack them open on here. But I think that's what we got going for us. We got a really nice night scenery, bar life. The city's real lit up.
What's traffic down there?
It's not too bad. You know what I mean? Like we have like every city in Texas, like everything's under construction, right? Yeah. And so, south of Dallas, it's going to be very nice to ride it once it's opened up. But man, it's just a shit show right now. Bad roads that are getting repaved over so that they can build a new one next to it and then tear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not the best riding in the world, but
there's some good stuff out. Like I'm thinking about like out west. Like I lived out in just outside of the 820 loop in Fort Worth for a while, and I'm thinking about like driving out to like Possum Kingdom.
Oh yeah, so that's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that area is really nice. Me personally, I've always told my friends, like if I actually was going to buy a house and I had to stay in the DFW area, it would be on that 820 outer loop of like West Fort Worth, because it's kind of like the cusp of the hill country right there, and you get some really nice terrain. It's really nice out there. But I guess another thing is I'm kind of burnt on local riding. So like when everybody's like, hey man, it's Saturday night or it's Saturday, let's go ride to this bar and that bar, and I was like, man, I'm over it. Like let's go somewhere far. Yeah.
He calls me a hipster every time I want to roll into town.
Everyone wants to roll into fucking town to go to a bar every time we want to go ride.
Don't get me wrong, I love to drink and I love going to bars, but I like the idea of like, hey, let's jump on the bike Saturday morning. Let's just go somewhere far away, get a hotel or a campsite, and have a party. Just like, even if it's just two of us, just have a good time, and then we'll come back tomorrow. That way, when you're out there at the bar halfway across town, you're not like, fuck, I got to drive 30 minutes home.
Yeah.
I can't get drunk. I can't do this. It's like, I'd rather just be somewhere different and then able to open up and just do whatever the fuck I want to do,
Yeah. No, and honestly, like I think that those kinds of things are definite possibilities, but in Houston, like you're just not doing that shit in the summer.
Yeah.
Because it's a huge difference. Like it cools off at night like 5 degrees, 10 degrees, and it's still, 80, 90% humidity. So
yeah, we met up at a bar last night, and as soon as I pulled up on my bike, I was like, fucking felt like a hairdryer in my face the whole way up there at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
It sucks, man.
It's hot.
Yeah. So how does, like you guys, what I think is cool on the outside looking in is, after knowing Zombie for the last couple of years, Adam that runs the H-Town.
FXRs.
Is it HTX?
FXRs of HTX.
Yeah,
okay.
FXRs of HTX.
I lose track of some of these names and stuff, but then, Adam Gould, Kevin, I got my own little giddy up group of friends that we call ourselves the pterodactyls down here. And
Kevin's going to be so excited that you mentioned his name. Kevin, that's for you, homie.
Yeah. He came to one of our campouts a long time ago.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him since. I guess he couldn't hang.
Oh, snap.
Called out on air.
We get fucked up, brother. But no, he's a good dude. But no, what was I saying? Like, fuck, I lost my thought.
My bad, homie.
No, what I'm saying is you guys, I feel like you guys really did a good job unifying Houston and bringing a lot of these people together and in a way looks badass online. Like seeing the videos or the stories on Instagram and the reposts that are taking place, it looks like y'all got it figured out now down here. And looks dope.
Figured out?
Yeah.
Well, it's a work in progress always, right?
Yeah, no
Yeah,
doubt.
I'll say I think it's more accidental than anything.
100%.
Honestly, when we first started seeing those DFW-Dyna Crew guys post, we were like, man, fuck.
They got that shit going on
Yeah,
up there.
we're in Houston, like we're riding by ourselves. We go out to the Thirsty Parrot and see every guy on a Harley that's over 60. There's got to be at least 5 guys in all of Houston that are our age that want to ride.
Yeah.
And so we literally just IM'd them and we're like, hey, can we copy what you guys are doing? And they were like, fuck yeah, do it. Like,
Yeah, I actually vividly remember because you wrote something on their shit and tagged me, and you're like, hey, what about doing something like this?
Yeah.
And then they replied to that, and they're like, y'all make it happen. And it's like, Dawn immediately went out, and this is completely Dawn. Like, next thing you know, he screenshots me a picture of the new thing, of the new HTX Dyna Crew. And I'm like, God, here we go.
Yeah, you're committed now, dude.
Yeah. It was awesome. And we posted it and we created an Instagram profile, which we were super new at Instagram. We posted it and just to have a bike night, not knowing what the fuck was going on. And somehow Zombie got a hold of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't do anything in Houston without Zombie.
So
no.
Zombie actually, he tagged one of our posts, and he was like, he tagged Adam Gould in it and a couple other guys, like, hey, y'all know who the fuck these guys are? And I remember looking at it, I was like, oh, this could get weird.
It is weird.
And then Zombie messaged us and was like, hey, Mancuso Crossroads is doing an event. I'd like to meet you guys and find out what you're about. And I don't think without that meeting,
Yeah.
any of this would have popped off the way it did, because we didn't know anybody. We weren't about anything.
Yeah.
And Zombie
Well, see,
really helped give us some guidance.
Like I said, Zombie has always been trying to, unify, and other guys in here too. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to make a big scene full of multiple friends for us all to have somebody to go ride with. But I think that that's kind of a key thing is that you guys, any of us, man, like when I started doing stuff in Dallas, man, like there had been people riding bikes in Dallas and doing things for years. So it's not like I just, hey, I got a good idea. Let's do a bike night. You know what I mean? It's not that new, but when there's like I said, Zombie's been riding FXRs and Dynas for a while. Adam Gould, the Pterodactyl dudes, Kevin, which I think he's a Dynatrash dude. And like all these people already exist, but what's good about like the DFW-Dyna Crew, the HTX Dyna Crew, it's like you just kind of the purpose is bike night, come out, meet, ride. That's the point of it, and I think that's why it works so well in Dallas and in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know there's other ones across the country, but I don't really know their maybe having the name is going to help, but it also takes people behind it to push it. You know what I mean? Which is obviously what you guys have done to help make this thing stick and grow.
It takes a shit ton of support, to be honest. I think about the first bike night that we ever did at St. Arnold's Brewery. They did not want us there at all. Like, they wouldn't even let us park our bikes together. I mean, there was 14 people showed up, and me and Cody were like, fuck yeah, that's a huge success. This is the best thing ever, you know? And so it was just like, okay, like, this is cool. We met some people that are our age to ride. I mean, like, Dirty showed up, and Jimmy, and Dustin, and Stino, and guys that we still ride with today. And they're just awesome people that have continued to support us. But what happened was those guys went out and they told 2 or 3 people, and those 2 or 3 people came to the next one, and then they told 2 or 3 people. And so they were actually getting to hang out with their core group of friends.
But make more friends.
But there was like 10 pockets of groups, and then all of a sudden the lines started blurring, and now you got industry people, new motorcycle riders, super experienced motorcycle riders, people that, that would traditionally not cross paths, and they're all hooking each other up, and like the industry's benefiting from it.
That's what motorcycling does in general. It brings people that don't typically ever cross paths together to form friendships and bonds that not trying to sound super gay here. I'm not supposed to say that anymore, but not super that, you know what I'm saying? Like, but motorcycles do that shit. Like,
no doubt.
You go to, even before the Dyna stuff happened, like back in the day going to motorcycle, bike nights when I was in sport bikes, I'd be riding up with a group of people. I had no idea what they did for a living. And then one day you're like, holy shit, you're a doctor?
Yeah, that's wild.
Holy shit, you own this company, or holy shit, you're a dirtbag like I am. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different people that come together under the umbrella of motorcycles, right?
Yeah.
And
it's a universal
It's
love.
amazing. Yeah, no, it really is. It's amazing to see the different people who come out to bike night and of all different walks of life. That Mike's sitting back here, he's being quiet.
Hey, Mike.
But I don't think I would have ever met Mike had it not been for a bike night that he just showed up at. And now I'm at his house, I don't know, once, twice a week, working on a bike, working on his bike, working on somebody else's bike. And, man, that's what it was all about, was getting to know some people in the community that you would have never met.
Yeah. I think what, you know, like I said before, motorcycles have been going on for years and years and years, before we were all born, right? But I think that what you guys are doing and what happened in DFW and what's kind of happening in a lot of other places is like just the progression of how we're making friends in motorcycles now. We're using the tools at hand, like social media, Facebook or Instagram, to kind of create these little bubbles and like, do shit together. Because otherwise, I mean, dude, when I first got my first bike, my first friend I met and became friends with on a motorcycle, I'm still friends with him today, was in a fucking 7-Eleven gas station parking lot. Yeah. Because there was no other place to go find people to ride bikes with. So you're just like on the highway or on this other road and there's a bike over there. And I'm like, that looks like my kind of bike over there. So you go, hey man, I know this is weird, but like, we'll be friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
Did we just become best friends? Yeah, it's a trip that you talk about the gas station, because we were actually going out to ride the hill country probably about, 5 months ago. And we pull up at this gas station.
Feeding chickens.
Yeah, we were feeding some chickens, and this dude mobs in on this Sportster.
You're really painting a really bad picture for Texas for all the Californians.
No, man,
there.
it was a cool ass.
It was a cool ass. The chickens were eating hamburgers.
Yeah, they were eating hamburger. It was dope. And so this dude mobs up, and he's on this Sportster, and we just start talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I just picked up this Sportster
at Dream Machines. He was on his way back to Houston from Dream Machines.
Yeah. And so we were like, man, just come out to bike night one of these times. And then this last bike night that we just did, he showed up, and sure enough, the dude got rid of the Sportster, and he picked up a Dyna, and he was like, man, that was so awesome. I met you guys. I started following the Instagram, and then I saw this bike night, and he's like, I just been sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah, getting a bike is exciting, but like I said, I can go ride. Like, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I really fantasize about just doing solo trips across country, but it's always better with a friend or other people. You know what I mean? Like, you get to share. Like, man, that was crazy with that road we just did. It was fucking amazing. You see that waterfall, blah blah blah. But man, like I get it. There's so many people out there that have bikes that just don't have friends, and that's, like I said, that's why you guys are on this podcast, man. Like, it's about like trying to get people to become parts of this shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think, like you said, you guys are killing it down here. Well, it's good seeing Houston. Houston's always had a scene, but it's good seeing it look like I said, that those fucking bikes scraping down the road. That shit just look crazy, man. It's awesome to see.
Oh, those dudes were wild. And they were, they were so awesome. The crazy thing about it was they actually just messaged us on Instagram, and they said, hey, are there any guys out there trying to learn how to wheelie Harleys in Houston? Like, we're trying to build the scene here. And we're like, geez, we don't know. We'll post something. We have a bike night coming up if you guys want to come out and meet some folks. And then they're like, how about we do a stunt show for you?
Yeah.
And so didn't charge nothing. They were like, hey, we're going to put on a show for anybody that shows up.
Don't pay anybody to do wheelies either. What the fuck do you think this is?
That was such a huge draw to people who've been locked in their homes for 5 months and haven't had anywhere to go. And they're like, shit, we can go see a stunt show for free, drink a couple beers, sit on the side of the road.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that anywhere.
Yeah.
All the time.
It was awesome.
Yeah, but
No, I'm not taking away from the fact that it's an awesome bike night, but I'm just saying, like, I love those stunt riders, because, one of them works with me at the shop all the time, but I give him shit. Like, nice wheelie, bro. I only see it all day long on Instagram. That's all good. No, those dudes, they're awesome, man. They do, when you see some dudes doing a wheelie on a Harley in person, it's like, to me, I feel numb to it because I see it online a lot, and I do see it in person, but for the first couple of minutes of it, I'm like, that's fucking dope. You know what I'm saying? Seeing the dude rip it up. One of my closest friends started hanging out with my other buddy, Lot Lizard, and he's always been into wheeling, but he would do power wheelies and shit. Yep. Hanging out with my buddy Zach, Lot Lizard, Next thing you know, he's fucking scraping. He's fucking got complete control of the bike. He's rolling down the road, giving me the finger now. I just think it's dope. You know, he found a real happiness with motorcycles again with stunt riding. So I think that's pretty cool for anybody, you know.
Yeah, shit looks expensive. It also looks awesome.
It is expensive, dude. It's really expensive. Being around my buddy Zach, he's really opened my eyes to the inner, I guess you could say somewhat of the inner workings of the stunt world, but it's a complete passion-based thing, just like the way I have passion for riding across country. Those dudes have passion for tearing up their bikes, basically, you know, but it's got to be exhilarating to rip up a wheelie and you know, scrape it or fucking just be able to have control over that, you know. Like, I remember back in the sport bike days doing a wheelie. It's like that was like Mardi Gras, like you got beads, you get titties. Well, back in the day on sport bikes, you do a wheelie, you get a titty out of the car. You know what I mean? That's how it worked. Saw a lot of titties that way. It's pretty awesome. They don't care how good the wheelie was. It just needs to come off the ground a little bit.
2 inches is fine.
It's been fine for a long time in my life, right?
It's the job done. Yeah. No, it was, I mean, like you said, though, it blurs the lines between different groups. It brings people together. Super awesome. You know, that dude showing up was just kind of, it was a neat experience to be like, hey, remember we met at that gas station months ago?
Yeah.
I mean, what more can you ask for, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's, like I said, man, you create like a place where people can come and meet people, man. Like, like I was telling you, my probably closest core group of friends were made from doing the original DFW bike nights. The original dudes that were sitting there at the table every day, every Tuesday, having beer, drinking, talking about their week. You know, mind you, this was 2018, so when we started all that stuff, and now here we are, and like a handful of those dudes I've ridden in every time zone in America with. You know what I mean? So to me, I think that I'm forever grateful of the fact that, you know, everything worked out the way it did. I mean, things kind of went sideways here and there, but for the most part, everything has been great. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's life, right? Things go sideways, but I think that was ideally what we were looking for was, hey, how can we meet some people to go ride with?
Yeah.
And then we had 14 people show up, and we're like, okay.
Hell yeah, there you go.
That's sick. We have people to go ride with. And then we did the second one, and 50 people showed up, and it just grew exponentially.
Yeah.
And, you know, at this point, we've met a group of people that we can ride with and that we're riding to Colorado with. If we could find a way to develop that in all of Houston and have people, you know, on the north side meet up, have somebody with a garage, and have a group that they're riding with every weekend, and a group on the south side and a group on the east side. And that's ideal, right? Then you've built, not you've built, but a culture has been grown and developed, and people are building those communities, and it's growing exponentially on its own, and people are out riding, and that's the whole point. Their bike isn't sitting in their garage not doing shit, but they're out riding their bike, having fun, stopping, having beers, doing their own thing.
So what kind of gravitated y'all to, because like you said, you were riding a Road King and you ended up picking up one too. Yeah. What gravitated you towards that type of bike in the first place? You know, going towards a Dyna when you were already on a better handling bike.
Yeah. Can I speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, go for it.
Dude, I'll never forget when the 16S came out. Like, I saw that bike and I fell in love the moment I saw it. I'd had a Dyna before I got the King. And Don and I did a trip where we traveled all over Texas. Like, we rode basically the border of Texas on our Kings.
That's crazy.
And
I'm not. What's that ride take? Like,
dude, it was fucking felt like forever.
Is it just like, did you just do it to say you did it, or was it some of it pretty cool?
Oh God, it was an awful story.
It's a bad story, dude.
I want to hear it, man. That sounds awesome.
You start it.
Oh my God. So,
and we'll get back to how the Dyna thing came.
Yeah. So we weren't like, you know, like we're very much like marooned out on the west side, just the two of us riding together, and we didn't know any better. So we were like, man, how can we go out and go riding and see some more parts of Texas? And so we signed up for the Texas Hog Rally. And so literally we're like, I had just moved to Midland, Texas.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
So I was on my own here. He was on his own in Midland.
Yeah. And so we're like, let's meet up in Abilene. And let's go to the Hog.
That's an easy ride for you. But for you, you're kind of
fucking
it sucked for him, yeah.
Yeah.
And so we show up and we're like, dude, what the fuck did we get ourselves into?
We were there for 2 hours. And
Nobody was our age.
Yeah.
You know, and so we had already told the wives and the families and everything that we were going to be gone for several days. So we just got on the road that same day, we canceled our hotels, and we just started hitting towns and just going all around
That's
Texas.
pretty cool, though, man.
Dude, it was cool. We ended up on, I'll never forget, we ended up on some like 20-mile dirt road going through the windmills.
Yeah.
And it's like, at that point, I had never experienced anything like that before. Just,
Yeah.
you know, I'd been lost on roads before, of course, but never somewhere, you know, hundreds of miles away from home with your buddy. And you're just like, I don't even know where the fuck we're going. Let's
Yeah.
just ride. It was a game changer.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good trip, but you know, it just re-emphasized the fact that we didn't have anybody our age to ride with.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, shit, we pulled up to that. That was a weird scene, man. You pull up and there's a bunch of like older chicks that are like dressed like not wearing near enough clothes. You know what I mean?
It's like cosplay for old people.
Dude,
Yes.
have you ever been to Rock Rally?
Yes.
All right.
Terrible.
Terrible.
It's terrible.
It
Unless you
depends
hit the
how
street.
you look at it. Like, I've always told people this. Like, look, if you're going to Rock Rally to ride, scram, dude. It ain't happening. Go to Rock Rally to party. If you want to go to 6th Street, you can party there. Beer's expensive. Everything's expensive.
Yeah.
If you go to the fucking fairgrounds, dude, that shit is dope.
Dude, so we stayed at the fair. We stayed at the fairgrounds.
We camped there one night and got fucked up and just like saw every type of titty imaginable. Couple dicks didn't look, but they were there.
Kevin would be in heaven.
It was a shit show, but you know, it's its own little shit show. It's its own thing, you know. Like that's one thing I've had to come to grips with you know, the things that I've done motorcycle wise that I really love. Like I loved Giddy Up. It was my favorite thing ever that I looked forward to. It's gone now, right? So I wanted everything to be like Giddy Up. I wanted Rock Rally to be Giddy Up. I wanted Born Free to be Giddy Up. It's not. They're different. They're a different thing, and you have to learn to take these different things for what they are. Rock Rally is a side by side golf cart.
Yes.
A motor home, like not really bike, but there is a bike element to it.
Yeah.
That you know, I've only been a couple times in my life. It ain't like a must go to, but when I go, I prepare to just see the shit.
Yeah.
That's gonna be seen.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no shortage of people watching, and you
Yeah.
know, if you can dodge the
It's
golf
the
carts.
ultimate Walmart.
Yes, dude.
That's exactly
Straight
what it
up.
is. That is the best.
Yeah. Oh,
that should go in
man.
the dictionary.
Yeah.
Under Rock Rally.
Yeah.
The best Walmart.
But I will,
alive.
you know, like when we went down in 6th Street and the night where they ride out and they stack all the
Yeah,
bikes up,
that's
that
cool.
was awesome.
That was cool.
And well, in the big wheel bagger era, which is probably still going on now, it just turns into like every fucking shitty song that Nelly's ever sung. Everything, and it's always like the most weirdest white dudes playing the like electronic music. They're all. It's as somebody in the industry, like when you back in the day when stereos became big. The shop that built the bike, and you like say you're a customer of mine, you come to the shop. I just built this badass big wheel bagger with a stereo in it. And usually I'm like, all right, I'm going to show you how good this sounds. So I have a couple songs that sound really good on it. Those become your go-to songs every gas station you pull into, every bike night, every rally. So you got like 3 playlist songs, and you're like jamming them over and over again. And there's always this awkward thing that these guys do when you know they're not really – they're kind of like what we were talking about with what you guys have done. They're just on a bike, and they bought a lot of shit, but they have no friends in it, right?
Yeah.
They stand by their bike so awkwardly. They pick a song and they blare their music and they look around trying to make eye contact with somebody to find someone to go, yeah, brother. You know, just something like that to validate what they just spent their money on and what they're doing. I'm painting a very vivid picture. It's very vivid in my
So
head.
all I'm imagining is what's the
Bombshells,
Bombshells,
bro.
the parking
That's
lot of
Bombshells.
Oh, yeah. It sounds like
If you go
Bombshells.
to Bombshells, that's what you see.
Yeah, they have
every
motorcycle
time.
parking, and that's exactly what it is every time.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
one dude standing by his bike, blaring the radio, waiting for people to come out and talk to him.
Yeah. Hey, man.
You know what? That should
What
be
stereo is that instead of what
Hey,
fan?
but those,
that should be a challenge. Let's go befriend that guy next time.
Yeah. Hey, man, you should sell this. come ride bikes and have like real friends in this thing and not just like that shit. But no, so you guys did this little. Did you literally like ride as close to the border around the whole state?
No.
or
We
what?
just hit a bunch of towns and went all over and.
it was the longest ride either of us had ever done.
Yeah, I mean Texas is a big ass state, right?
Yeah.
Like you can ride in the state of Texas, and
Oh, I know all about it, man.
yeah,
We just rode from Ruidoso to Dallas, and once we hit Texas, I was like, "Fuck, awesome." Then still had 6 more hours of Texas to go through,
Yeah.
you know, and that was only that part. Like when you're in El Paso coming back from Cali and you hit El Paso, you're like, "Fuck yeah, Texas," and you're like, "Shit, I'm halfway home from LA."
You're like, I still have a third of the country to go through.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's wild how big Texas is, but
Where all did that trip take you? Like, were you just in that little Abilene, Midland, San Angelo?
So we ended up, actually, so Don was living in Midland at the time. And so we ended up, I mean, just like everybody else in Texas, ended up in Austin, right?
Yeah.
So we rode all over, ended up in Austin, went out and had a good time.
Marble Falls, up to
yeah.
Lano, gone
It's a
down
ride
to
that we
Lubbock.
actually do quite a bit now, at least a couple times a
Yeah.
year. He and I will take off and just go run it because there's some great roads outside of Austin, around Lake Travis, that area.
Yeah, 1431.
Yeah.
I think 1431 is better than Twisted Sisters, but you know.
But you like the sweepers, right? And I mean,
But you're more like I said, you get caught behind a lot of people real quick on that road because it's one of the main roads to get from the Austin area to like that, 281 type thing. So you can easily get caught behind a bunch of cars, and it's like you want that road that's just open and you can take it slow, because that's what's weird, right? Like we did the Tell a Dragon this year, and we ended up catching it at the end of the day. There was nobody on it. You would think go fucking balls just as hard as you can. I was like, you know what? Let me give you an analogy. So when you're on the highway, right, and there's a bunch of cars around, you just like, fuck, get away, get. And then as soon as you get open, you're like, but chill now. That's what I felt like on the Tell the Dragon. It's like, man, I don't even want to rip this. I just want to fucking cruise this motherfucker. Because I'd ridden it before, and that's kind of what I do. That's what I did on that trip at least.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't want to overplay it because we're not like cross country riders. We haven't done any like big trips like that or anything. Like that was just a spur of the moment. Like go for it. I think honestly, the longest trip that we'll have done together will be this Durango trip. Yeah, and we're gonna go hit Durango and then go up into Utah and go to Arches and come back down. So. You know,
got to make sure. So you got to go to Monument Valley, man.
Monument Valley,
way better than Arches. You don't see the Arches. There's only one arch you see off the road, and it's on the way from Durango to Moab. But the rest of it, you have to go in there, park, and then you have to hike in a couple of miles, or not maybe a mile or two to see them. So it's like you're not going to get a sweet ass Dyna picture next to them, But Monument Valley is kind of like, so when you're in Durango, you either can go north to Moab or kind of southwest-ish, and it'll take you to Monument Valley, which has that long-ass road that it's just a long road with some fucking mountains on the end of it, right? But for some reason, like the feeling of being there is like, you really feel like you're in a magical place. I know that sounds woo-woo as fuck, but you, just for a biker, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, wow, this is...
There's times you see shit, and you're like, this is...
But there are a couple little spots that you can catch on the way. Man, if I would say anything, man, if you like go north, you could probably do a dope loop from like Durango north up to like Silverton and all that shit, and then over to Moab and back to like make a loop out of it. But when you go home, I would recommend going and doing that Monument Valley, because it'll drop you into the corner of Arizona, and then you can make it back. It won't be like a huge detour, but you're that close to it, and it's not on the way to anything.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
Might as well try it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're
how many people y'all got going on this trip?
7.
That's a good number.
I can tell you, I don't think any of those dudes are going to be hiking, so. No. They're not.
Michael, you hiking?
Hey, I'm down for whatever.
Yeah,
so
we don't have a lot of hikers on there.
The other thing about like some of that stuff is all these cool spots are also really popular on social media, so you have every walk of life
5
on these
million
things.
people there.
So, like I said, some of the places that we've been, I would say the more popular they are on social media, the less I enjoyed it. It just, when you're out in the middle of the fucking desert in the mountains, you want to feel like you're in the middle of the desert in the mountains, not in downtown LA. You know what I mean? Like, that's the point of being out here, is feeling like you just rode your horse across the desert to get to this badass monument or this badass, rock formation in the middle of nowhere. But then there's a line to get in. It's like Six Flags or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we're hoping COVID fucks all that up.
It doesn't. Nope.
No?
Just rode through Yellowstone. It was miserable.
Well, thank you for breaking our heart.
You're welcome.
Way to go.
Way to go. We will leave here and cry.
There's
We were hoping that like nobody
what's your
would be
route?
on the road.
What's your route going up there?
We're heading straight to Amarillo, and then we're gonna head west, and we're gonna park in Santa Fe for the night, and then we're gonna go north and go through Pagosa Springs.
Okay, yeah, that route's pretty decent. If you go to there's a town called Las Vegas, and from there you kind of go up and you go up to some mountains. Really nice, very like you'll go through Taos and stuff like that. It'll kind of dump you right out to go through Pagosa Springs and all that still. But you'll see a lot more mountain riding.
Nice.
Because that way you're going to go is it's like a main road to get there. So it's just, I mean, it's nice. Don't be wrong. Once you hit Santa Fe, it's nicer going north.
Yeah, we specifically stopped in Santa Fe for a night. Just
New
to go
Mexico
ride that
sucks
area.
dick right now, by the way.
Oh, thanks. You're just making this ride sound
Well,
so much
so
more
apparently they're
saving-
opening up right now.
Well, what do you mean by open up?
Like they're starting to open up the restaurants and the
so
bars.
all the restaurants are open, but you have to eat outside under a tent.
Really?
Yeah. So we just did Sturgis, Yellowstone.
Yeah, we saw.
We
the pictures.
zigzagged
They were
all the way through Colorado, hit Durango. Durango's cool. You'll have fun in there. And then dropped down and went through New Mexico all the way down to Ruidoso, and it was just like, it's just kind of miserable in New Mexico right now. But if you're only staying there for a night, dude, just go get you a hotel, get you a couple 12-packs, and hang out there.
Yeah, we got an Airbnb, and then we got a buddy who lined us up with a dude that he used to work with who owns a steakhouse, and so we're going to have a good steak.
Well, then you got it made right there.
Yeah.
Then. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to just, we got 2 Airbnbs, and we're going to crash out and wake up early and do some riding, and then...
So where are y'all going to set up for the Durango thing? Like, I haven't been to that rally yet, so I'm like, what's y'all's plan for that whole deal?
I think it's called Bayfield, right?
Yeah.
So
This is a point of contention.
Mike fucked up. Mike fucked up. Yeah. Mike got the Airbnb, and we were looking, and we got 7 guys, and so we were like, all right, we all want to have our own.
I'm gonna
beds.
need you to pause right now. Don had to have a hot tub.
I had to have a
hot tub. I ain't going unless I have a hot tub.
And if y'all don't fucking all get shirtless in there and take a picture,
It's
and
fucking sausage soup.
hell yeah, dude,
It's gonna happen. I mean, it's gonna happen. I mean, fuck, dude. I told these guys, like, literally, I just started walking like 2 weeks ago.
For real?
Yeah.
he was crawling before.
Yeah, so I mean, I had a mountain biking accident and I broke my hip, and I had 2 surgeries and I
shit,
was
man.
laid up. And so like my motivation for getting off the bed and off the walker and then off the crutches was to go on this fucking
Yeah, I give him
motorcycle
credit.
ride.
I messaged him immediately after. I was like, dude, are you still going to be able to do this trip? He's like, I could give a fuck less about anything else. This is what I'm doing.
You feel pretty
We're going
good,
on it.
confident, like you're healed up enough to.
Yeah, I feel good. Time will tell when you spend 700 miles on a bike. Like, I'm gonna need that hot tub.
So from here to Santa Fe is 700.
No, to Amarillo. It's
Amarillo's
700.
our first night. We're doing a short run between Amarillo and Santa Fe just to kind of ride around New Mexico and go through.
Well, that's what I was saying. Well, the Santa Fe is like like from Amarillo to Santa Fe is like a straight shot, and then you hit like I remember this road real clear. There's a really shitty truck stop at the corner, and it's a road that takes you straight to Santa Fe. It kind of skips over Abilene or Albuquerque. But the town before, I think it's Santa Rosa or something like that. If you take that north, you go through, like I said, it was Las Vegas, which is nowhere near the kind of Las Vegas that you would think of. But it's like at the base of the mountains, or it's a triangle of like Taos, New Mexico, Angel Fire, and I don't
the
know if-
ski resorts. And
yeah,
shit, right?
but dude, it's mountain riding,
Yeah, it's
dude.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome, especially that short ass day of riding. Like I would probably, if I was you guys, I would probably go up to, go north to Tex Line and go hit Raton, and then ride some of that shit back down to Santa Fe. That way you're not just straight.
No,
with
that's
the
kind of the
highway.
goal, is to sit around. We don't have to have that all planned out in
Yeah,
advance.
yeah.
Just see where the fuck the road takes
Wherever
us.
you
and go.
feel like, too,
yeah,
'cause you might be kind of burnt too.
we're
Like,
gonna
let's
go
just rip and
800
get.
miles the first day. We may be like, all right, we feel great. Let's get on the bikes and run it. And we may even, we have 7 guys. 3 of our guys may be like, I'm just ready to get to the next place, and 4 maybe want to go ride the curves, and we can do that.
Yeah, well, that's all. Yeah, so you can kind of like, if you all know where you're going, you can split up too, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, like fuck it, you go do that. I'm gonna go home. Get in
Yeah,
that hot
no
tub.
doubt. And I think that's been the whole thing, right? Is like everyone's gonna. we want everybody to have a good time together, but if you're not having a good time,
Dude,
get your ass where you need to be.
I'm one of the, so like, on my trips, man, with my dudes, they always fuck with me, and rightfully so, because it's kind of gay, but every time we get to that one really nice hotel or something that has like a big ass jacuzzi tub, I'm like, you guys go out. I'm getting in that tub tonight and fucking, just Instagramming with my feet up in the air, but dim the lights.
You and Don might be best fucking friends.
Yeah.
Like, tell me, bro. That's my story right
there. I'll chill out, man.
We did that shit in Durango this year because we got there and everybody was like, man, like, let's go out. Let's go hit the town of Durango. And by the way, in Colorado, everything closes at 10. You can't even buy beer after 10.
Oh, what? Stock up?
Mike's got us covered. He's going to strap that shit onto his sissy bar.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind. Like, you can go out and party, but so we did that in the night before. So we stayed in Colorado 3 nights, and then the first night we were camping. So, of course, we just went to town, grabbed a bunch of shit, went back to the campsite, and partied. The second night, we showed up in a town, and we just found, like, a Chili's, and we're like, let's go shut that motherfucker down, dude. Dude, I have a
Chili's.
I'm saying.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Hear me out, bro. Everybody wants to go the trendiest fucking bar or whatever, right? You know where the fucking real people are hanging out at?
Oh, dude. I'm
Goddamn
with you 100%.
Applebee's, bro.
No doubt about it.
Chili's. You want to get to the nitty gritty of this town? Go to your fucking local Applebee's, bro.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. But
I'm about that Wild Wing Cafe. I don't know.
Hey, man, I don't care. I can get a drink, do some people watching, eat some food,
Yeah.
get ready for the next day. I'm good.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe. So, yeah, we went there and we shut down this Chili's. And then as soon as we left, we were like, let's go grab a couple 12-packs, head back to the room.
Done.
Nope. No beer. Can't buy beer anywhere.
Yeah, I'm bringing a couple bottles in the bag to have on reserve for situations like
it'll
that.
Be helpful.
Yeah. No, we're pretty pumped up. We're pretty pumped about it. But anyway, getting back to the story, so Mike booked the Airbnb, and it's a sweet house. So it's a really sweet house, and it's got a hot tub. Everybody gets their own bed. We're super pumped up about it. And then I think it's Kevin's dumbass goes
Looked
on
it
like
up.
Google Earth or something, and he's like, "Yo, it's like a 4-mile mountain fire road to get to this
Yeah.
house."
Caliche Rock.
Yeah, like he's
Don's
like,
got his new
there's-
soft He's super stoked about
There's
it.
2 lanes, and there's literally grass growing in between the lanes.
hell yeah.
And so we're like, oh shit. So we call Airbnb, and we're like, hey, this is a safety concern, and da 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 da. You didn't. And they're like, nah, you ain't getting your money back. So needless to say, we're about 30 miles outside of Durango in a little town that I think it's called Bayfield, and we're
Is
gonna
it
have.
in Colorado or Mexico?
It's in Colorado, and we're gonna have to basically get up and down that fire road.
Go ahead. I'm listening. I just want to look it
Yeah,
up.
and so
Bay.
I think it's Bayfield,
It
right?
is Bayfield.
Bayfield, yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
got
They're all like, oh yeah, it's good.
We
I'm
don't
like,
we don't have brand new expensive ass Softails with custom paint.
Yeah. So you're in between Pagosa Springs and
yeah,
it's not
it's
bad.
a little bit of a hike, but
Where is Durango staying? Isn't it like at a Indian casino thing?
so
like
it's
the rally
all
itself.
over.
Yeah, it
What
kinda
we
spread
didn't
out.
know when we started looking at it was that it takes place at Durango Harley Davidson. There's a block party downtown.
Yeah.
At the Sky U Casino, they have stuff
That's what I
going
was hearing
on.
about, yeah.
Yeah. So it's then they have the flat track racing. It's looking like it's going to be a pretty cool event. So
Yeah, I want to go, man. Like I want.
you're welcome
but-
to come.
Come on, man.
Well, not that part, but
Come on
the
now.
problem is.
Fast Life can pay for that Airbnb.
Oh yeah. That the problem is like it's too close to Sturgis, and everybody keeps. Look, I said this to my buddy from Jacksonville yesterday. I love him to death because they all want to go to the V-Twin Visionary show instead of Sturgis. I was like, look, cool, support these other events, but look, if you're a biker, you go to fucking Sturgis. Period. Sturgis is like you're not even. I don't even think you're allowed to say that you're a real biker until
Bro,
you've
never
done Sturgis.
been.
Dude,
Never been.
I'm shutting this off right now.
So, but yeah,
Sturgis is like it's history. It's some of the most amazing, like it. I don't know, man. Like I can't really encapsulate this whole experience into words, but Sturgis is badass. These guys that you're doing Durango with, man, Sturgis is probably easier in a lot of ways because everything. If you figure it out, it's kind of cheap to go to Sturgis. It's like
you can camp out.
yeah, you can camp, and the camping's pretty, like all those campsites are legit. Like imagine if Buc-ee's had campsites. It's pretty much how most of them are. You know, they got clean bathrooms. I mean, trust me, there's probably some shitholes there, but for the most part, you can camp for 5 or 7 days there with dope ass places with showers and really nice stuff that's cleaned every hour for $150.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we have some guys that aren't able to go this year that are already trying to plot out next year. So,
Yeah, I mean,
hey, maybe we have an idea.
It's aspirational. Like we would love to go, you know.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, you know, Sturgis is a must, and I think it's probably, you know, I'm probably so biased about it because of my connection to the industry of motorcycles as well. But you know, so I look at like, okay, I got to put all these eggs in a basket to be able to make Sturgis. So then when you have an event 2 weeks before Sturgis or 3 weeks after Sturgis, I'm like, yo, bro, like I need to make some money,
right?
So I can afford to go to the next spot. You know what I mean? So it gets hard to do those early September ones or those late July events. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I never thought about it from that perspective. Like, hey, I've got to run my business, and then I've got to be able to hit these major motorcycle shows because obviously you have a brand that you're trying to take care of and you're trying to perpetuate in the industry.
When I don't go to Sturgis, I get a massive case of FOMO. You know what I mean? Where I completely feel like I just missed something.
Yeah.
You know, because like everybody else that's like an industry peer is there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird because not a lot of painters go there, which is technically what I am. But I deal with so many other bike shops that I feel like, oh, fuck, they're partying without me. Those assholes. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's a weird one.
Yeah, see, it's not like that for us because
No,
we're like,
not at all.
you know, he's a banker and I do BD work, and so like motorcycles is just a straight up hobby for
We do
us.
VD work.
Yeah, I was gonna
BD,
say,
just making
not
sure.
venereal disease work. I'm not a doctor. Jesus.
yeah, one of my closest friends is a banker for Wells Fargo, and he's kind of like he's our guy that he makes these really nice PowerPoints after we figure out our trip. They're really dope, man. There's I would hire the dude if I had that kind of position for sure. But you know, he's one of the key factors in us being able to do our trips. You know, we have this. I'm gonna try to do a podcast with it next time we do it. But in my studio thing, I have this TV and my computer's connected to it. So we got all the guys sitting at the table, and we're just like, all right, we're going here. So what do you want to do between here and there? So we pull up Google Maps on the big screen, and we're like, one dude's got the hog book from Harley out that tells you all the cool rides. So we've hit a lot of them. And then one dude's like, well, what grave sites are on the way? Are we going to see a Billy the Kid grave or a Doc Holliday grave? Is there any
He's
Forrest
your history
Gump?
guy, huh?
Yeah. So is there any Forrest Gump fucking points where he was in the movie running across the country? Is there any cool shit to see that makes no sense to want to go see?
Right.
Right? You know what I mean? And so that it makes it to where the trip has all these little small things that you're looking forward to in it. And like we'll sit there at the studio at 10 a.m. and at 7 p.m. we're like, y'all good with this? Cool, let's wrap it up. Dude, this year for Sturgis, we were at a point where we were going to Sturgis, and then after Sturgis, we were like, let's go do Yellowstone. Where do you want to go after Yellowstone? Dude, let's go to Vancouver. I'm like, fuck, that sounds fun. So we're like figuring it out. Like, dude, we have to do like 5 days back to back, 400 miles, 400 miles, 400 miles. Wears you out bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, not do that. Let's go ride California all the way down. Same thing, 400 miles, 400. Like, we just figure all that shit out to try to figure out the most action-packed, experience-packed event for the amount of days that we're gone. That way we can try to get the most out of it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I followed, I guess we followed CAG FX DLS.
Yeah.
So we rode with him down in Texas Hills, which I think, I can say for both of us, probably our favorite like motorcycle event
Texas
of all
Hills
time.
was rad. It's
Like,
sad to see it go.
Whoever is listening to this, fucking start Texas Hills again. That's the best shit in Texas. And
Y'all never went to Giddy Up?
No, we never made it to
Okay.
Giddy Up.
Yeah. Same thing, but no, Texas Hills was dope, man. Like, that was a good show. And, you know, working with Dustin and all those guys since day one when they first started that thing it was fun seeing that thing progress and go somewhere. I don't really know the backstory as to why it kind of didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because it felt like a success, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like,
it was the most fun shit. And I mean, just being there, it was probably the thing that we've been to that had the most people in our age demographic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we went out and we got some good riding in during the day.
Yeah.
And then we went to Fredericksburg Dude, Fredericksburg, that's a fun place to go. That piano bar in Fredericksburg, my God.
There might be some stories.
Yeah, Fredericksburg is a good spot to set up, but good riding, good camping,
And just like,
good people.
yeah, crazy shit like stopping at the dam and swimming. And
Yeah.
we stopped there to go swim, and there was like 5 of us, and the next thing you know, 40 bikes show up, and everybody's out there, and it
Hell yeah.
just takes over the entire area, and people are leaving with their little kids because all these bikers show
They
up.
did. They left.
But it was super
That's
like,
what it's about.
dope to get to meet people who have similar interests as you that you would never meet, and they're from all over the state. And some people we met from different states who had ridden in. It was really, to me, that's my favorite event
Yeah.
I've ever been to. And I was super.
It's probably
not stoked when they killed
It's
that
probably
off.
close to like the similar experience to what your guys' camp out is, because I follow that stuff. I didn't get to go this year. We wanted to.
We planned on it, and I don't
Yeah.
remember what happened. Everything kind of fell
But
apart.
like
was
people
scared.
were coming from
Was it
out
like
of
at the start of COVID? Like,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
It was like right when shit started kicking off.
We're
shit.
all fine, okay?
Well, and I had a baby right around that time too.
Yeah.
That was a big deal.
He birthed it and everything. It was
And then I
amazing.
broke my hip. I actually delivered my own baby.
That's gross, but okay.
It was an accident, bro. It was not intentional, man.
Did you catch it? Like, ooh.
We didn't. Yeah, I actually did. I caught the baby. Like literally, she looked at me, and the security guard was like, "Y'all can't park there. You gotta." It was a mess. And
Oh,
my
you had a
wife-
TV baby on, you know what I mean? Like one of those, like,
Made for TV, like
Yeah.
white
kind of like
movies.
Talladega Nights when he's in the back of the
My
car.
wife looked at me. She screamed and she goes, "I'm not gonna make it." And literally, the baby just came,
Nice.
and
Caught it
I
well.
caught it. Yeah, like grabbed this thing before it hit the floor. It was a trip. But this is all right in that early springtime,
cool,
so it was a.
No, what I think that, what the camp out was about was also birthed. Can I get one too, man? Was also birthed out of the same thing, because like I said, the guys that helped me put that camp out are the guys that I met from that bike night that we all started with the DFW-Dyna Crew. So the concept that, we did that, and then what made it cool was it's like the bike night made it to where we brought a city together to start making friends, right? But the camp out was like bringing a region together. That's awesome. So what happened was now we have these guys from Florida and Michigan, and COVID happened, but we had all these people saying they were coming from California. But then, at the beginning days of COVID, everybody was like, "Oh man, there's checkpoints at thank you, sir. There's checkpoints at every state. You can't get in."
Yeah.
None of that shit was true. But you don't fucking know. And last thing you want to do is leave Oakland, California, and get all the way across Nevada, and then Utah won't let you in.
Burn up your vacation, get
Yeah.
halfway there, and get turned around. Yeah.
So I get that, but that's the point of it, man. That's the reason why other campouts have been birthed after hours, is because it does bring people together, doing exactly what you guys said you did. Like, you show up, you party with a lot of people that are in our age group that dig this type of shit, and you strip away all those hiding places. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So like we said, like I'm one of those dudes, like you put a fucking jacuzzi tub next to me, bro, the balls are coming out. I'm getting in that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Hey, let's go drink beer and just be guys somewhere. Like, dude, I'm taking this fucking bath, bro. I'm gonna watch Ellen or some shit like that. You know what I mean? No, but what I've always said that's awesome about camping is that it forces you to be in the party till the party's over, and sometimes you don't want to. Like, I want to check out. I don't feel like partying tonight, but you got people that rode all over the country to come and have fun. Like, you feel obligated to force yourself out there to be a part of all the shit going on. So,
Well, once you get a few in you, change
Yeah,
your
it's always
mind.
the few, right? That's what we said last night. I was like,
Yeah.
didn't even know we were going out, and then once the 2 beers
it's fun,
happened,
man. Yeah.
a lot more happened.
Dude, what y'all were saying about hanging out in Mike? Is that it?
Yeah, Mike.
Mike's garage? Dude, that's the best.
It is.
shit.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
has been named the COVID Lounge because
Yeah.
it came to the place when all the bars closed.
When you get a homie that has like a chill spot, like a garage, that you just know the beer's flowing and the conversations are happening, dude. Better than marriage sometimes. Let's be real.
I'm not gonna.
I
argue.
mean,
You're not coming over there going, "Where were you?
yeah.
What time are you going to be home?" Like, it's just like pure freedom for men. You know what I mean? I get it. I get the man cave thing. I get it.
Well, and I will say, like, COVID's a bitch. Like,
has
let's not
been
get
a
it
bitch.
twisted, but there's been a lot of good things that have come out of it. First of all, I don't think that the bike nights would have ever gotten as big as they're getting right now.
Yeah.
And I don't think we would have ever just hid out in Mike's garage. I mean, we started hanging out there because you couldn't get a beer anywhere
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
It was the place to go.
And
Yeah.
and then we ended up
Fuck it. It is
like
the place to go.
drinking, working on motorcycles, and now it's just kind of like, all right, let's meet up at the COVID lounge.
Yeah.
And like it's almost preferred to go into a bar.
Yeah, I get it, man, because
So.
it's easier, it's cheaper.
Yeah,
You
super
know?
cheap. Yeah, especially if you don't buy the beer, right, Ben Val?
Damn.
Burn.
No, it's the best, man. Like I've always said, man, like I think that those kind of situations are kind of unbeatable, man. When you got a bunch of dudes that are all on the same page, wanting the same thing right now, like, hanging out, riding this shit, dude. It's fucking Cloud 9, man.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. So what you guys are doing are taking it to the next level, riding across country. That should not only inspire other people around here, whoever else may follow you in America, it's just going to help you guys grow this idea. And then maybe, like you said, the Woodland chapter or the Woodland group.
Yeah.
It
doesn't need to be that
Chapter.
organized. We don't need to call it chapter.
Yeah.
Just friends hanging out, man.
Yeah.
People who want to ride together, who want to work on their shit together. I mean, we started earlier and we never got back to it. Like, how do we get to Dynas? And it's actually kind of a funny story. Like, so I loved the S when it came out.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. But I had just had a new baby and I bought the S. And I'd bought several bikes from the same dealership, so got a hell of a deal on it. Don was living in
Fort Worth.
And he got transferred to Houston. And he had been here for, 3 days?
Yeah,
he had already
not very
sold.
long.
He had sold his King, and he had been here for 3 days. And he's like, he immediately started looking for a bike when he moved back.
Yeah.
He fucking went online and bought an S from some dude in Fort Worth and called me, and he's like, dude, I'm jumping on a plane right now. Meet me halfway so we can ride back to Houston and talk about your experience whenever we did that.
That
It was the
fucking
middle
bike
of
was garbage, man.
An S?
Yeah, that I had. It was a 17 Lowrider S, and it was bone stock, except for it had a Red Thunder exhaust on it, and
which wasn't tuned for shit. It popped.
yeah,
like,
it was terrible. And I mean,
Probably know whose bike it was. When did you buy it?
it was
2 years
2
ago.
years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, so I knew someone with the Red Thunder Lowrider S, but he just got rid of it like last year.
Yeah, and so like I flew down, picked it up, and then I met him halfway, and it was cold as shit.
It was
'cause It was
raining.
in the middle of the winter, and I'm a tall guy, I'm 6'1". I'm not hugely tall, but we might have stopped at a fucking Chili's,
We
like
did stop
right
at Chili's
outside of
in
town,
Huntsville.
dude.
Fucking
in Huntsville, yeah.
Never fails, brother. Never fails.
And-
Don't write Chili's off.
And
man.
I looked at him and I go, I made the biggest fucking mistake in my life. This bike is a piece of shit. It's garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, like my back was sore, my neck was
So
sore.
you-
I was
you didn't
all
fit the bike very well.
No, I did not fit the bike at all. And so we ripped down home, and I started looking on Instagram, and I started seeing people like putting risers and bars and everything. I was like, all right,
Oh, okay,
And so I got online and I just started ordering shit. And I had that bike for like a couple days, and I took it completely apart. And I
It
said,
became
Cody,
me hanging out in Don's garage every fucking day after work, and we were fucking bolting shit onto that shit to make
nice.
it comfortable for him.
any part that I could get my hands on, was buying it up. Big
You
Al's
learned
was like my
so
homie
much
for a
from you,
while because I was
yeah.
buying so much shit from him, And he'd come over and he'd help me. Like, dude, we learned how to do a chain drive conversion off YouTube. Watching the Tracker Die guys doing it.
And you bought the tools to do it all?
Yeah,
Shit?
bought all the tools.
Like normally halfway through the project when we realized, the shit we have isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a special tool to get that sprocket.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
learned. We learned about halfway
Amazon,
through the
baby, they sell for $60.
But yeah, so that was what, honestly, like that was what opened our eyes to like better shocks,
Yeah.
better bars, and then after the bike was set up, it was like such a
Yeah.
rad bike to ride. And then
And then I did the same thing. Like he had the bike in.
So you literally did the meme. Hey, guy.
Yeah,
Come
dude.
over. Let's put on T-bars.
No, it's no shit. Like, dude, we are not cool. Like,
yeah.
It's kind of cool that you did. It's cool that the meme is accurate and it's funny and we can laugh. I did the same shit, bro. We laugh at ourselves for that stuff. You know what I mean?
dude. But it was about. Then it became about, all right, how can we make this shit faster? What can we do
Yeah.
next? And it just became this progression of us having fun together. And then we ran into the DFW guys online,
Yeah.
and that post thing happened, and it was
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, guys have been running T-bars in Houston? We had no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Guys have been running 2 and 1.
So when was this, like last year or the year before?
2 years ago?
Well, shoot, I think we had our 1 year in March. Like we had officially, like the page 1 year was in March, so a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
All this was kind of happening.
So when I met the Houston homies here, which I call them the first giddy up I ever went to, the most memorable one in my life, I met like, his name's fucking like Dave. He has like an FXR.
Yeah. Dave and Jimmy and Evan.
All
Super
those guys,
cool dudes.
right?
Yeah,
Evan,
rad dudes.
And Evan, I think Evan ended up getting a fucking gold wing, which was one of the dudes in the group got a gold
Did
wing.
Evan get a fucking gold?
I don't know if Evan did.
They're all into fucking MX right now.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of motocross.
Those dudes are those are like the first. I met them. They were all from here. So like Austin Todd, I guess.
Yeah. He's from New Braunfels, right?
Yeah.
He's from here originally. So this is like 2017, right?
You're way cooler than us.
No, it's not that. No.
Yeah.
Well, it was 2017 because I was riding, dude. I was riding building and riding big wheels across country, and then that scene got so toxic in the Dyna culture because I was up in NorCal working.
You just realized you couldn't turn it, or what?
No, I mean,
I give Mike shit all the time because he's got a road glide.
Yeah.
that's
He
cool.
bought a Dyna to hang out with us.
But in all fairness, it's not a big wheel, you know. Like
Yeah, I got a road glide, brother.
yeah.
Hey.
No, it's cool. The thing.
I want to get on the trip so I can have an excuse to ride the road glide up.
Yeah, just tell them you're not putting shit in my bags, faggot. Sorry, I can't say that.
Can't
no
say
more.
that shit.
You
anymore.
just got cut off. They're gonna fire you from your job.
But no, I mean, dude, you can ride big wheels. You just like the thing is that the problem with them is that everything that you're doing to the bike takes away a little bit of the enjoyment of the road.
bike, right? Yeah.
It's great straight. I mean, honestly, a big wheel done right handles way better than a fucking Dyna sometimes. You know what I mean? As far as like not wobbling after 100 miles an hour.
My shit don't wobble. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. Just wait.
Yeah.
I got brand new motor mounts on it. So.
There you go. That's why.
Hey, you know what? You throw a chopper house motor mount on your Dyna and it's never gonna wobble.
Yeah, we gotta.
Not true, but close. No, Dynas are, dude. I love Dynas. They're awesome. Like I said, it's just kind of like when I was riding, I had two Dynas. I bought a T Sport from Adam a couple years ago, and it was my dream bike because my dream garage is a Road Glide, a T Sport, and a full fairing FXR. Which at one point in time in my life I had all three, but the T Sport was not together yet. So I had the Road Glide 2017. I had my full fairing gold FXR, and then I had a T Sport that was it was a flood bike from here, from whenever I guess Harvey.
Yeah.
Motor was still good, but but no, the I don't know, what were we talking about?
You were talking about when you met Dave and
Jimmy
so
and Evan and all them.
that
giddy up was fucking amazing, man. I met Mason, who's still somebody I love to death. I wish he'd get back into bikes. He used to do a lot of photography shit. He still does. But, I met Austin and Mason, who were there with all these dudes, Dave and all those guys from Houston at Giddy Up. And then 2 months later, Austin and Mason rode with me and my other buddy to California.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? To do Born Free and
That's
shit.
pretty rad.
Yeah, dude. And that's, that shit was dope to me, you know what I mean? Like we went through Durango, we went through this Monument Valley I was telling you about. We were riding and camping, and dude, it's awesome, man. And those guys wanted to do that shit. They just needed to find guys like me and my buddy who had done it before to be like, come on,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, and I mean, just the fact that they associate with like Jimmy and Dave and all those guys, that they're good dudes.
Oh yes,
right. There's instant credibility because those guys are just so. I mean,
have they?
I could pick up the phone right now and hit one of those guys up and say I have a problem with the bike, and they'd help walk me through it. So they're awesome.
So one of the bike nights, God, was it one of our COVID nights? Like right when COVID first started, we had a guy that rode with us. I don't know anybody's name other than Instagram. It's Chicken Little, and he was rolling in with us, and he blew a tire on the freeway. And we reached out to Adam with FXRs, and he immediately got on the phone with Dave.
Yeah.
And Dave rolled out with his truck. He was in the middle of grilling food, and Dave rolled out with his truck onto the freeway. We loaded up, Fucking spokes are bullshit, by the way.
Yeah.
We blew.
I don't.
Chicken Little's bike and put that shit in Dave's truck, but I mean that's the point, right?
Yeah.
It's getting people engaged. Dave's been involved with the community for years. Chicken Little's a somewhat new rider. I mean, he's aggressive and he does a lot of cool shit, but he would have never had anyone to call if he blew a tire on the middle of the freeway. But he was rolling with Mike, with me, and a bunch of guys into bike night. This shit happened, and we immediately have people we can call that are all good dudes who are a part of the community, and that's the purpose of the whole thing.
Yeah,
to me,
one
that made
dude that
everything
doesn't know
sense.
the other dude says, "Yeah, I'm gonna shut my grill down, fuck up my dinner, go and pick your ass up off of I-10, which is like life-threatening."
Goddamn
right?
nightmare.
I got a one-up story for you guys. Very similar.
Let's hear it.
Totally one-up story. So first off, you said spokes, right? So he had spoked wheels.
Fucking spokes are garbage.
I don't fucking ride with spoke wheel dudes anymore. Fuck those guys. They're a whole class of human that I don't mess with anymore. No, I'm fucking with you.
Zombies, goddamn zombies.
No, they're good dudes. But last year we did our big California ride, and one of my closest friends to this day is he had spoke wheels on his Street Bob. I think they came with Street Bob.
Yeah.
Dude, front wheel fucked up, rear wheel fucked up, everything fucked up on this California ride. So we were like in Winnemucca. You know where that is?
No.
Sounds like the middle of goddamn
So
nowhere.
it's a part of a really good song from Johnny Cash. You know what I mean? And we were there, and we're on our way to Reno, Nevada, and man, it was like we're there, and it's Sunday. His front tube went out. There's not a fucking Harley dealership for 300 miles every direction, right? This Von Metal, I don't know if you ever heard of him.
No.
Well, Google him. He's a good dude, but he did some stuff on a video. He was trying to pitch his TV show, and the internet just took it to another level. You remember when the Dyna got canceled, and then they started doing the soft tail, and there's all the memes like the Hitler meme, and you remember?
Right, yeah.
I think I may have created some of those.
Yes. Yeah.
Now you're gonna buy a Softail.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to hear this bullshit.
But so he, like I said, I'll show you that video. He's a solid dude, but he's the kind of biker that's been a biker his whole life. So he's so much of a biker that it's kind of like an acquired taste for some of us. You know what I mean? That's the best way to put it. This dude, it was Father's Day. At 8 p.m., he left his house, drove 200 miles, 230 miles to pick him up and bring him back and charge him $200 for gas.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's badass.
And I mean, like, it was a solid for him, you know what I mean? And then the next day, I felt so thankful for what he did that, we were at a shop, he was fixing a homeboy's tire. I was like, man, I think because I had just did all the Olin suspension on my bike, and I was catching some like weird shimmy, and I couldn't figure it out because I knew the suspension was dialed. And
might be going through that same
it
shit
ended up being my front tire was starting to cup. So he's like, man, so he hooked me up with a tire, and then while he was changing the tire, he found like an issue with one of my front bearings, fixed all that shit, charged me like just the cost of the tire, and got me on the road. So yeah, there's a lot of solid dudes out there, man.
But that's a community, right?
Yeah, it's a community.
Outside of just Houston, like that happened in Houston. Here you are, cross-country trip. It happens. I mean, I think
It happened with the FXRs, right?
Adam could tell you that he, when he took his big trip out west, like
he told me all
they
those.
ran into some shit and people stepped up to the plate.
What was
and came
it?
out.
Tucson? He was stuck there for like 2 days. Yeah.
I mean, but they got him, right?
Yep.
People that he didn't necessarily know.
Yeah, those
like-
are what the Great 48 that took care of them. Those
the
guys
New
have been
Mexico
super
guys.
cool.
Yeah.
Message with them. They're super cool dudes.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah. I'll make sure we're recording.
All this shit has gone to waste. None of it's recording. Start over, guys.
When I'm at the shop and I'm doing the video version, I have to record on here. And so I'm used to seeing this thing lit up. And so I was looking, I was like, what the fuck? And this is audio.
Like, I'm just going to leave right now.
That's awesome, dude.
No, dude, the motorcycle community is great, man. It's got its fair share of drama, but dude, you put a bunch of dudes that ride bikes with, testosterone and
That's
fucking like
exactly
shit
right.
like that, you're going to have,
Shit
some
happens.
chest bumping, some egos, some things like that. It's happening, but, ultimately, to me, like, the perspective is, like, when experiencing, like, what you guys have in the garage, the COVID garage, that shit right there, it's like, I don't want to ruin this because I want my ego stroked a little bit here and there, or, you know, whatever. You know what I mean? So, like, there's some bigger things in individuals that take place. When you have 15 dudes or 14 dudes hanging out in the garage, you just want to comply. I just want to be with these dudes, and I just want to be welcome here amongst these guys. You know what I'm saying?
And you know those dudes would do anything for you. And that's the thing is, like, so many people have brought over their bikes that have been worked on in Mike's garage, and just anything you need, like, that group of dudes will take care of you. And
it's a super solid community, and we're lucky, and I mean, it goes beyond just the people too. Like Mancuso.
Oh yeah.
They, like, literally, when we were probably the laughing stock of Houston trying to start this HTX Dyna Crew thing, they were like, hey, let me throw you some tires to give away at bike night.
That's cool.
And, like, Tim was like, here you go. Like,
Dude, yeah, Mancuso Central has been so.
Is that what is
good.
that?
It's a Harley dealership.
Okay.
I mean, they
but it's like a crazy Harley dealership.
yeah,
Like, they're just
performance. They're
you know,
about performance.
they're not the big, like the 2-story Harley shops and shit. They're just like this little shack building that's probably like 80 years old, and they just been really good to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know him. He's good.
Crazy ass.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
good. Oh shit.
He's a golf orbit, man.
It's crazy.
But dude, we actually have, at the same token, on top of even the local things, one of the things that Don and I started doing immediately when we were building our bikes up, I say building, we were piecing our shit together.
You're modifying.
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
bolting
yeah.
shit on. We weren't doing anything crazy. But anytime we would buy something, we would talk to the vendors about what we were trying to do in Houston. And we had some great support, and we had some people that blew us the fuck off. And, I mean, you look at companies like Rogue Rider Industries who fucking immediately, like, I bought lights, and I was like, hey, this is what we're doing in Houston. They're like, we are 100% in. Like, we want to do this.
Yeah.
And Howie with Law Tigers, same thing. He's like, he actually reached out to us, like, hey, I want to do a big giveaway. Like, can we do a full service and or tires or something? Don, I know I'm missing people.
Yeah. I mean, Dave with Baylands, all these guys basically were like, speaks to your point about the community. They're like, hey, we see what you're doing. We like it. Like, if it helps draw a crowd, like, here's some free shit.
Well, consider this, and this is kind of some of the talks that takes place in some of the industry. You know what I mean? Because me personally, I feel like our industry's fine. We're young relatively. You know what I mean? Like, and I've been riding Harley since 25. My brother's 25. He's riding a Harley. I know a bunch of 25-year-olds riding a Harley versus when I was 25, I was riding sport bikes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like what happens with what you guys are doing, what DFW is doing, what all these other parts, there's a lot of them popping up with even different names on it in the United States. I know there's some cats up in Nashville that are doing like a club style Nashville thing that's turning out to be a big thing.
There's one in Hawaii, bro.
Yeah, that's dope.
Wild.
But that's a grassroots way to like. I've always said, like, what if a dude goes to the dealership and buys the Dyna, right? But never his whole connection to the community is just online. He doesn't have that scene to go be a part of. I mean, dude, that's depressing. Like, I'm getting teary. That's a fucking Disney movie, like the dude's dad died kind of fucking vibe. You know what I mean? It's you need things like this to kind of help solidify motorcycles into people's lives. You got to buy a bike, but then you need something to happen with that bike as far as gaining a group of friends or having life experiences on this bike with friends to kind of like staple it to your lifestyle, make it a part of your life that you don't want to give up. Because I don't really do too well with the guys that like to ride bikes and then summer comes and then they go ride boats all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I wish I could afford a boat because I would definitely like to have a boat, right?
Don can't afford a boat because he's got a $40,000 job.
Hey, shut up. No, but it's a tragedy when you see somebody that went out and bought a bike thinking that they were buying an experience, and after owning it for 3 years, they turned it in with 3,700 miles.
yeah.
And you see it all the time. I mean, I grew up, like, my dad still rides a white glide. And,
Hell yeah, brother.
fucking
Flames.
black
He's
with a red
wild,
flame.
too.
And he rides his ass off.
Yeah.
But I grew up in that environment with a dad who was never part of a community, but he grew up on an AMF Harley, and he has ridden his whole life. Yes, please.
Yeah.
And so he had me fucking riding from the time I was little, but he doesn't ride with anybody. He jumps on a bike and he'll ride out west all the time, and he does it on his own. And he has one buddy he rides with.
That's the
like Don and I.
definition of lone wolf.
Yeah.
So at Sturgis, we had a campsite set up, and this dude just pulled up from like Illinois, and he immediately gets there, rips his shirt off. He has rings and fucking necklaces and shit. Older guy, like mid to late 50s, but like looks like Mickey Rourke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not like Mickey Rourke, Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, but like Mickey Rourke in Spun. You ever seen Spun? You remember
Old
that?
shit.
Yeah. Just kind of
Little sketch.
yeah, a little sketch. But the dude comes up, he's like, "What's up, guys? I'm Lone Wolf."
That was his name?
Yeah, that's his riding name. But
Oh,
he's
wow.
like, "I'm a lone wolf, you know, I just kind of hang out by myself." And he did the entire time. He camped by himself. We're partying like 15 feet away, and he's just sitting by his own fire doing his own thing. And I'm like, God damn, dude. Like, I mean, there obviously are people out there that don't need friends to enjoy experiences like that, but fuck, man. Like,
Dude, it's changed the game.
way better with them.
Yeah, it's definitely changed the game. You know, having that experience for years. I mean, I rode on my own before Don rode with me. It was just me, and it's been super cool.
It's a lot better when you have a partner in crime. I mean, even like the Dyna Crew stuff, like when we're doing it together, it's a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah.
And when we have help from our buddies and there's people that are helping us, it's so much more fun than when you're trying to take it on by yourself.
What's also happening, and it's pretty clear with the Colorado trip, right? Is that as you start doing more of this stuff and you're hanging out in the garage, like everybody's just throwing shit. Like imagine you're all just throwing shit on the table, like, man, I want to ride here one day. I want to ride here one day. And then one dude's like, let's go.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
That's exactly what it is.
fuck, all right, well, okay. And then when, you know, if you've never ridden far before across country, then when you have 5 or 7 people that want to do it, it makes it a lot more palatable and possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think these groups kind of help inspire each other to go further and do more. So next, you know, you're doing Colorado this year, but next year you guys might be fucking hanging
We might
out.
do Sturgis, homie.
Yeah, homie.
I mean, if you're a real fucking biker.
Shots fired.
But no, like, just you inspire each other to do more things. Dude, you don't have, nobody has to go to Sturgis. I just say, like, you know, I like to talk shit, but I think it's cool, like, what you guys are going to do in Colorado. It's cool just to, you can never take away that experience of, like, of ownership of something that you conjured up in a fucking garage drinking beer with your buddies and executed. Like, that's going to be the biggest trophy of your bike career until the next one comes
Yeah.
up. You know what I mean? So
No, it's absolutely true.
Yeah, and it's 2020 has been kind of a shit year, and I can tell you that we've all been sitting around on the daily just talking about how much we're looking forward to this trip. And this trip would have never happened without the core group of guys basically nudging each other like, no, we can do this. We
Yeah,
can do
even the
this.
guys that can't go, that we talk to every day, like we're so like,
Yeah, and-
bitch, negotiate that into your fucking salary, Brian.
Yeah, yeah, and next year, like they're like, all right, well, I can't come this year, but next year it's happening.
yeah.
You know,
That's a good thing. It's like you want people to do it. You know, sometimes it takes other people a little longer in your circles to really commit to what's going on. You know what I mean? Because I was saying earlier, like I used to fucking stress the fuck out because when I was in my bike club days, my club, we would ride to San Francisco, LA, and home. And then I'm like, hell yeah, next year, let's do it again. Man, I think I'm gonna go to Miami next year. Like, what the fuck? Like, we're a bike club, dude. We're supposed to ride bikes far and do cool shit. Yeah, man, I don't want to go back. I'm like, dude, I could ride PCH every year for the rest of my life. Yeah. I can go to Sturgis every year the rest of my life. And so for me, it's about, like, even though, like, my circle right now is kind of probably, we're going on our 3rd or 4th year. I don't really remember. But I like the idea that, man, you know, hopefully maybe this group will continue to grow for 5-10 years. And one day we could be going to Sturgis again at 70. Be like, fuck, remember the first time we came here? COVID.
that'd be wild,
You know?
right?
2020. So I've gone to Sturgis every year since 14, and I missed 18, but every other year. And so this year was the first year that a lot of my friends have got to go. So I'm like, hey, we got to go here. I'm like the tour guide for Sturgis, right?
Yeah, you know everything. You've been there.
Yeah, so that was cool. But then as soon as we left Sturgis and we went to Yellowstone, like that was something I experienced 100% with these dudes alone. So we popped that cherry together. So to me, Yellowstone, the stories that we haven't talked about on the podcast yet that'll be coming out here soon, that'll all be like, you know, something I get to share with these dudes, you know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty stoked about that.
That's cool.
I think you guys are going to have a great time with Colorado. You're going to find out a lot about the guys too. Like the strengths, the weaknesses, the annoyances, you know, because when you're hanging out with a dude just on one night a week or 2 or 3 nights a week versus sleeping next to them, waking up next to them, who's easygoing, who's a pain in the ass, who has to take a bath everywhere or hit the jacuzzi, you know, all those little things. Like sometimes it's not a big deal, but you know, sometimes like I'm like, fuck, this dude is annoying the shit out of me. Yeah. You know?
Well,
that's friendships, right? I mean, that's just the way it is.
So you put nickels in a sock and you beat the shit out of this motherfucker.
And then they don't come the next year and you're fine.
Pop cans, You know, and you know, we have talked about that because, you know, like we enjoy different things. Like we're a core group of friends and we like motorcycles, but you know, some of us like to go out to bars and get drunk and take our shirts off, and other ones of us like, you know, and other ones of us, we like to go home and sit in the hot tub. Yeah. But the good thing about this is like, hey, you know what? If you want to do your own thing, like there's a couple of guys on this trip that are going to want to do it with you.
Yeah. So you're going to get to have there's no like. It's not like it's 3 of you and 2 wants to go out and one dude's
no one's getting soloed.
Yeah, that's cool. That's what you want to. And that was the whole concept behind, I think, the Dyna Crew and originally is like, man, if we can create a bike night with 10, 15, 20, 30, however many people, and they all become close friends, and we always have somebody to go ride with. Yeah. Maybe not 15 dudes can come out tonight, but 2 of them can, or 5 of them can, or whatever the case may be. So it kind of opened up the possibility of always having somebody to kick it with, you know, which is kind of
So I have a question about that.
That's awesome.
So like I know at DFW y'all do it weekly, right? Or it's done weekly.
Yeah. It's I mean, like I said, it's long been separated between my group and that group, they, you know, the DFW-Dyna Crew does a bike night every Thursday, and then we've kind of done ours every Tuesday, right? So there's plenty, and like I said, DFW is kind of a weird thing, right? Because if you put DFW together, it might be similarly as big as Houston is, but Houston's a big city.
That's what I was. That's the point I was getting to. Like for us, monthly, I think
that's ideal. Right?
It's ideal. Like weekly, I think you don't get as many people.
Shit, it's 45 minutes to an hour for you to get anywhere in the city.
I fucking dread going into town at rush hour once a month. Period. In the story. So
the way that I looked at it whenever I was trying to set up the bike night stuff, or like some of the ones of us that were doing it, it was the fact that like it's hard to me. It's harder to build that friendship amongst people if you only see them once a month. Yeah. Right. So you might do the bike night, but that bike night turned into a couple friends that you see now weekly. Yeah. Right. So now that bond is real tight. So you kind of, even though you're not like a club, but you have a tight friendship with some of these people. So I wouldn't say you're probably standoffish for people coming in, but you're at some point you're going to start vetting people a little bit more. You're going to be a little bit more like, I'm going to fill this dude out before we let him into that
inner circle. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So the thing is with the DFW is like, Dallas is Dallas, Fort Worth is Fort Worth. It's a little bit different as far as a mindset, but equally the same. Great places to party and do shit. You know what I'm saying? But when it originally started, Dallas just made sense because all of us lived 30, 40 miles away. Yeah. So we all came to Dallas. It was an equal effort, but it just kind of differences of opinion. It kind of went its own way. You know what I'm saying? And but I mean, like I said, the only thing I don't like about it is for a long time, and I think it's gone now, but a long time it was very separated, and like people didn't fuck with one side because of this, and people didn't fuck with the other side because of that. And what I hated is like the camp out this year, how big it was and how many people came from all over the country and how fun it was. But there was this whole group of people in Fort Worth that didn't come because they were a part of a different group. Just not around when it separated, but they were just part of a different group. I was like, man, that sucks that they're not getting to have these friends and be a part of this experience because of literally who they met at the gas station.
Well, and it goes both ways too.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
So there's guys that are in the other group that don't. One thing I will say, like you mentioned, that maybe that's kind of going away. I know that we follow some folks, and it seems like they pop up at the DFW-Dyna night and North Texas T-Bar. So
it's been an effort. Like we did a hood ride, and a lot of it was accredited to my buddy Zach, this Lot Lizard, who is more. He hangs out more on the DFW-Dyna side, but he works with me, right? And so he's a big stunt rider, and he's doing a lot of cool shit. So we were talking about doing a big ride for some friends that were coming in from California to just show the stunt scene in Dallas and just kind of mob the streets. So we did. We invited everybody out. We call it the Fast Life Hood Ride. I'm sorry I put my name on it, but I orchestrated it, so fuck off. So we did that, and then it was a real huge success. And then we went back to my shop afterwards, and we all fucking partied and drank beer and tried to squash it. Some things are, I'm not gonna lie, some things are kind of always gonna be there for me. Like I'm one of those dudes that, once you eat at the table with me, the dinner table with me, and you kind of fuck me, like you'll never eat there again, but we'll be cool.
Yeah.
You're never gonna get that close again. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I'm with some certain people. But ultimately, my thing is, I want people to enjoy motorcycling because we do have something special in Dallas. Then I want everybody to be a part of it. I want people to meet some of the friends that I have because they're rad dudes and not feel like they can't because I'm their friend.
Right.
And you're not supposed to like me or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's been better, man. It's been way better. Like some of the dudes that were the biggest guys that didn't like me, like we're super cool now. Super cool. And I'm actually way cooler with them than I ever thought I would be. And and like I said, I hate that there ever became a division, but fucking egos, man. And it's not just mine. It's the other people involved too. It just happens, Yeah. Like I told him, it's like, I don't give a fuck who you are. You do anything for 20 years, you have an ego within it. It happens.
Yeah, you know there is. You're a specialist.
You work at it.
You're going to have pride in your work.
Yeah, it's pride, right?
Yeah.
So it's good. I got to piss too now.
Yeah.
This is y'all's podcast. Go ahead.
Do I get to wear the headphones? Yeah, you can get some more beers.
So, Dawn. How's the bike running?
Good. Yeah, I got the dyno numbers back. It's looking pretty salty.
Let's hear the dyno numbers on that soft tail.
Oh, I mean, it's putting out 134 horsepower and 143 torque.
My asshole hurts right now.
Yeah. So, I am curious though to see what it does once I finally do get that Royal T pipe and put it on.
Once you finally get that,
gotta get it in, but I'm curious. That HPI pipe is pretty dope though.
Yes, sir. This will be a good edit. So I'm glad we're not live, that you get to actually edit this out.
Yeah.
I don't have to edit anything. I don't edit anything.
You take that out. Yeah, we're awkward silence over here.
It's all good.
So, yeah.
No, but it's like I said, with all that, I'm glad it's kind of moved into the past because, like I said, DFW, Texas, Houston, Austin, there's a lot of fucking rad people out there, and the whole point is exactly like what I said about you guys. It's about getting everybody together to party, ride, and do shit.
Mike just went in with a whole helmet full of beer. I'm sorry.
So we talk all the time about like, all right, I'll take another one. Like, what's next with the DFW or with the HTX Dyna Crew? Yeah, and Cody and I are like, like maybe it'd be cool to bring somebody else in and kind of like steer the ship for a while, and for us just to be able to go and hang out at bike night.
Dude, it'd be so cool to be able to just go to bike night and not have to fucking manage this shit.
Let them develop new relationships with like new people, new vendors, kind of like stay in front of like what's going on with the scene and bring a new perspective to it. And that way it's not always on us. We don't get entrenched. We don't, start to develop like old habits.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we've been talking about that a lot.
You really want it to be like a community effort, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and that's kind of, not trying to stir anything up, but that was kind of the concept with us and DFW as well. Like, we felt, I think my side of the friends group felt like it needed to have more of a community, like equally represented area. You know what I mean? Water under the bridge, not a big deal anymore. But yes, I understand what you're saying. Like it's like it'd be nicer if this was like a collaborative effort through a group of people that are all putting something there. That way, there's no burden on one or two people or something like that.
And you just don't get stale, right?
Yeah, and I think that
we're getting older and we go through periods like Cody right now. Like you said, he's a banker.
Dude, I've been working on PPP goddamn loans and fucking everything you can think of. Like, I've taken a step back over the last 2 months, and Don's really fucking just spearheaded everything.
Yeah.
And I hate that because I feel like I'm letting him down. But the same token, we have a group of guys. If we could get, somebody else to step up and just say, hey, I'm going to reach out to some people that.
You got 14. How many? 14 dudes that hang out at the house? What was it?
Periodic. Yeah, it fluctuates, but I mean, there are people, but I mean, like,
there's hundreds of people that,
like Jimmy said, hey, I'm willing to help out however you want. Mike's like, I'm willing to help out however you need, and I'm like, you know what? That sounds like a pretty good long-term solution. Like, nobody sits at the head of the table for very long.
What if you find 12 dudes that run here, and every dude has a month that they run the page and set it up every year? That way, you only have to give it 100% for a month, and then the next dude is responsible for 100%.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about doing different things where we split it up. Like, hey, we're gonna have 5 dudes, and each dude is they're gonna do 5 posts a month. That way, it fucking stays on top of it. Their shit being posted, but.
As weird as this is, but like if you talked about finding, since Houston is such a metro area, so big, you know what I mean? Like all these different areas that don't really mesh together because of the distance it takes to go ride and drink beer, and you don't want to fucking go across town fucking fucked up. But if you could find those quote unquote 5 different leaders of those areas that can help represent it, then collectively run the HTX Dyna Crew page, that would make the most sense, right? Because you have 5 people representing the 5 or 6 different areas in town.
Yeah,
but it'd be awesome, dude. But you just gotta watch out. We talked about it earlier, right before, about ego. Like, you gotta watch out for ego. We've been very fortunate. Like, everyone we've worked with has been super cool. We haven't run into an ego issue, or everyone's been very accepting of what we're doing. But it's at the same token, like, what does that look like if you spread out 5 people across town? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And right now, we always have our bike night in town, and
I hate that.
He hates it. But the reality is that we get some dude that IMs us from Conroe, and they're like, dude, that's fucking far. And we're like, hey, there's 15 people riding up from Galveston. And there's 20 people riding from Sealy.
Struggle.
Yeah,
it really
like
is.
Everybody is riding in once a month.
The point of having something rad is earning it.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah. So the point of having a bike night that's not convenient to you is that if you want it to be important to you, or you want it to mean something to you, you have to put in effort.
Yeah.
When we started the one in Dallas, I lived 40 miles south of Dallas, or 30 miles, correct me. We had 2 dudes that were 40 miles north. We had 2 dudes that were 35, 40 miles east. There was 1 dude within 10 miles, 1 dude within 10 miles of the bike night. We all made it there every Tuesday. And the other thing is, like, one thing that me and my buddy James, the banker, we talk about is the accountability that
is right.
I
Like James
invested. Is your name James too?
No.
Oh, okay. So the thing is that, like, when we started doing that, I counted on, like, just for lack of a better term, you to show up every Tuesday, you to show up. I counted on you dudes to make this bike night fun. If not big, at least I knew my core group of friends were there, and I was going to have a good time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, you want to be the guy that, like, you want to be a dependable person. You know, you don't. Oh, it's not convenient for me. Like anything
work.
convenient is never gonna be something you're gonna like cherish or work for or put in effort. And when it becomes convenient, maybe I'll go next week. I don't feel like it today.
Yeah,
You know?
it's a big ass city. I mean, much like the DFW Metro or the Metroplex, you know, it's a big city and people come from all over.
Yeah.
And everybody has to put some miles in to get to bike night. And
Dude, we've had dudes from Waco come to our bike nights. We've had dudes almost from Oklahoma come to the bike
That's
nights.
wild.
It's like dudes see the shit online, and you know these little smaller towns in the middle of nowhere don't have that. But the consistency of a single location that is happening all the time makes it easier for those people that really have to make sacrifices to come out to it, to be part of this community. Makes it easier for them because they're not like, okay, this week is the week. Hell yeah, I'm going there. I know it's 100 miles there, 100 miles back. I'm doing it. I want to meet these guys. They look dope. Fuck, they just moved it 40 more miles away. Now it's 140 miles away. So it's not about being easy for everybody. And you make better friends when they have to earn it.
yeah,
Period. You know, like the people that are showing up every Tuesday because they rode and they put in that effort. Fuck, they're not saying they're better dudes than the dude that had to ride 5 miles, but you know, it's like a respect that you give them. Like, thanks, man. I know it's not close.
I mean, we appreciate everybody that comes out to bike nights because it's awesome to see them all. But man, when a person tells you that I just rode all the way up from
College
Galveston
Station,
or I rode all the way from College Station, you're like, damn, that's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
Badass.
Like, it makes you feel good. Like,
Yeah.
hey, yeah, like this is cool. Like, this is something that people want to be a part of, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know.
So let me ask, when y'all were starting off at DFW, like what was y'all's bar scene like? Did y'all have hiccups with that, trying to find a place that would house y'all, or what did that look like?
The bar. So I had been doing New Year's rides because New Year's is kind of like my anniversary for my shop and now my podcast.
Cool.
So every year around New Year's, I was throwing a big event, and we'd always go to this place, Anvil. Right, Anvil's right in Deep Ellum. I never expected, but we never really expected to have like 50, 60 people at the bike nights. Anvil was like, it's in Deep Ellum, so on a Tuesday night, you're sitting out front drinking a couple of beers, your bikes are right there, and there's so much shit going on in Deep Ellum that it's like being on 6th Street in Austin. So like, maybe we're sitting down and we don't have anything to talk about. Well, let's talk about this motherfucker walking by right now. Do you see this shit? So it kind
it's
of
Deep Ellum, bro. You see some shit.
Yeah,
Deep Ellum.
it created its own content for the night, right? But Deep Ellum, you know, it was the absolute best time of my life for the first year, about a year and a half, and then you know, Deep Ellum started to take a turn. But the thing is, like, we just showed up. We didn't ask permission. We showed up, but we're not like the bikers that are coming in all cutted up, you know, with fucking rings on every finger all the way to the last fucking fingertip. We're not that. We're just dudes that are looking for a good place to chill, have a couple beers, and not feel like I don't want to go to a dirty, dark biker bar. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go to a regular place with regular people. Yeah. I just want to ride my bike there. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's what Anvil was for the longest. We made a great relationship with the bartender. He was solid. He was taking care of us. It was half-price food. And we were all drinking like PBR and fucking Lone Star, so that shit doesn't cost much. So you can go drink and eat and see. We actually seen a bunch of titties at the bike night before, random ones, like flying by. You know what I mean? Like just driving by, like, hey, woo, bikers. I'm like, kind of cool, man. I'm an
seen
old
a set
married.
of titties on my motorcycle ever.
Yeah.
What are we doing wrong?
I mean, I've seen a set. They're not a set you'd want to see.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, actually, you can ask Adam from Adam came down there with Brian from the magazine.
Yeah, Gasroots, yeah.
Ask him about the time he came to Anvil Bike Night.
We'll have to ask him. Hear about some titties.
He'll probably hear this and tell it like, hey, let me tell you about this. But no, it's you just kind of, you got to be respectful, and you have to understand that like that bar is also, you have to make sure that all your dudes are tipping, not being dicks, not being assholes. Don't be a hassle for this place, because the thing about bikers is like we're kind of like, I don't know, man. You guys cool or what?
It's seen it, yeah.
Because sometimes it's like, okay, you get the club guys in here, you get the real fucking like testosterone over the top guys, and they just make it like a hassle for these guys. You know what I mean? For the bartenders and the rest of the patrons there at the bar. We don't want to take away the bar's growth of place. We just want to be there to have not be left alone, drink some beers, have our own thing, be able to park the bikes pretty close and fucking have at it. Not like in there making it hard for them to do their job. You know
I gotta say, like, our experience is a little bit different than used to.
But we asked for permission.
And we did ask for permission before we went anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? I got to give some credit to the place that we're at now, and we intend to stay at as long as we can, Liberty Station. They've been super cool to us, and they always talk about that they get better tips on bike night than like
their
any
best
other
night is bike night.
Yeah.
Period. They're like, y'all need to come back every week.
So we've moved our since then, and that's the same thing the new place says to ours. It's like Deep Ellum got real sketchy over the last year. It just shit started, especially with the protests and everything. It's even worse now. But even before like the end of last year, it was hard to go down there, man. The cops were getting worse. So now we're sitting here parking our bike on the curb, which is technically not allowed. Yeah. But we were sitting here spending so much money at this bar, and nobody gave a shit. We weren't causing an issue. We were spending money.
Yeah.
But then it got to a point where you can't park here anymore. That's a fine. It's this. You can't park here. You got to go park your bike down there. It's like, you know what? We're out.
Yeah.
So the first bar that we went to, I don't remember.
Oh, Bobcat Teddy's. Yeah.
Like we had a bike night
That sounds
there.
like a strip club. Bobcat Teddy's?
Yeah, Bobcat.
But I guess it was an old biker spot, and we were there.
I feel like that's intimidating, though, to do it at a biker place.
But it wasn't a biker place anymore.
So what they did was it was a new owner, and it's a cool little spot, huge patios, like really cool, good parking and everything. And we talked to them, and they're like, yeah, come on. And after our first bike night, like I think they were a little bit overwhelmed by the number of bikes that showed up, and they, essentially the manager called up and was like, hey, like we have a certain demographic here, and we're afraid that you're going to cost us business. We don't like the biker kind of look and feel. The owner doesn't.
And that's crazy because, like, looking at you guys right now, like, I don't look any different than anybody else 25 to 35-year-old dude.
So let me be, like, honestly, we end up at Bobcat Teddy's almost after every bike night. Like,
we still go there.
We still go there. Like, there's like 5 to 7 of us that end up there.
It's a good bar.
It's a good bar.
But the owner did not like the fact that the parking lot
was completely
full of bikes. And they were like, you're going to scare the neighbors off. Like, you're going to scare the people that have this negative perception of people that ride motorcycles.
Yeah, I get that. And that's me and Zombie were talking about that earlier. You should be happy again. I just said his name. But
Zombie.
Yeah, thank you. We were talking about that earlier, that it's like it's really hard to change the perception of the outside world about us when half of us still are being fucking, Jax Teller on roids, and the other half of us are normal dudes that have normal jobs, like you're a fucking banker and shit, and you do. What was it again?
BJs.
VJs.
VDs? I do VDs, bro.
So it's like, I don't know a lot of dudes that are, I know this is probably like older bikers are probably listening to this going like, these fucking millennials, man, with their fucking
millennials.
Their fucking trophies for everything kind of well, I feel like when you get to those super extreme biker bars, that the normal dude that just wants to meet a couple dudes to ride bikes and go and enjoy some friend biker shit, you know what I mean? Like, hey, let's hang out in the garage. I don't want to go hang out with a bunch of clubs, you know what I mean? Where, oh fuck, I wore my red and white Vans today and I'm in Texas. What was I thinking? You know what I mean? Like, where you have to worry about that shit. Like, I just want to go to a regular bar and just wear whatever the fuck I want and not feel like I have to, abide by things.
I do see how, like, that can be a bit intimidating or worrisome. But I will tell you that, early on, like, there was some people that were like, oh, these bike nights are cool, but you need to make it, like, no colors or whatnot. And
That's good.
So we talked about that, but we never wanted to go that route. And I will tell you that, like, the different clubs, they show up to bike night
all the time.
Oh,
all the
don't
time.
Get me wrong. I'm not saying
and
clubs. I'm just saying, like, when you go to the club establishments, it's kind of a little bit.
And I've never been, so maybe that's just an experience that I don't have. And
of course, mine up there in Dallas might be different than what you have here. You know what I mean?
But I mean, they come out, and
They're cool dudes. I mean, we haven't had any issues.
Yeah,
zero. We've had zero issues.
So we have like I don't know if you ever heard of Strokers Dallas up there. It's like a bar that like Rick Fairless owns. Cool spot, but like a bunch of older bikers that when they see guys like me or even the way you guys are dressed and the type of bikes you ride, they all come up. These motherfuckers don't ride anywhere, and I'm like
motherfucker, we outride
fuck you. I just rode in from somewhere, you dumbass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which ego.
But
yeah,
that,
ego.
but hey, is that any different than any other thing? Like it's one generation to the next. These younger kids, they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
We laugh at the Sportster crew all the time.
Yeah. Like, you know,
in their HTX Dyna Crew, I think they like the.
Yeah,
maybe I might have heard of them.
Yeah, it's an awesome female riding group. So if you have like a mother or a sister, no, but
it is the coolest chick riding group in Houston.
It is, and I'm really happy to see them like out there riding motorcycles. No, but in all fairness,
all transitioning or what?
halfway.
Do we call them? They babies?
No, but in all fairness, the guy that actually was like, hey, started that whole deal, he hangs out in the COVID lounge, and he was like,
he drinks all Mike's beer.
Yeah. But we always used to razz his ass about riding a Sportster, but you know, he has a great idea because there's a lot of people that buy their first bike and they buy a Sportster and then it sits in their garage, and he's like, dude, there's like thousands of Sportsters sitting in garages in Houston.
Dude, I rode 883.
Yeah, if I can get those people to come in and ride motorcycles, cool.
I had a 1200, bro.
God damn it.
Like 18 people.
Yeah.
One of his first little taco Tuesday things.
He's got a cool thing going on, man. That whole group, they're cool people.
Yeah. And
we
like
give
the
them
chicks
shit,
are
they're
super
cool
awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like you fuck with Dynas because they wobble. You fuck with Sportsters because they're Sportsters.
Can you stop talking about this Dyna wobble? This shit is non-existent.
Hey, you know what? One of my favorite
Because you're not riding hard enough, bro.
One of my favorite
Fuck
podcasts
that.
of yours was when Crucy came on, and he was like, you know, fucking FXRs and Dynas, they all handle like a piece of shit. The difference is you can spend a couple grand and make a Dyna handle good. You're going to spend 20 grand and an FXR is still going to be a piece of shit. He did say that, right? He did say that.
So now that we know that Sportsters and FXRs are pieces of shit.
I don't know about that. Calm down.
Settle down.
I kid.
FXRs are saints, you asshole. No, dude, you have to all be able to dish shit out. That's dude, it's men. Like if your garage isn't everybody talking shit to each other,
It's all day every day.
Our entire feed, like our little group feed, you would be anybody in their right mind would be offended as shit.
hell yeah.
Yeah. That's what it's all
gotta
about. And all the different bike types.
It's mostly dicks.
No, that's
No,
wait.
That's all
Settle
Kevin.
down now.
That's all Kevin.
He was excited to say that, so I feel kind of questionable
I'm
here.
scared to open up like a
I hope I didn't offend y'all with my gay word earlier.
No, but seriously, like it's really awesome how like all the different types of motorcycles that have come together through this little community, this Houston community, motorcycle community. They all take jabs at each other.
Yeah.
It's all in good fun.
God damn, the fucking memes are so funny, dude.
are funny.
Dude,
Yeah.
and I ride a Softail now, and like
I give him shit
I'm getting hit
nonstop
left and
every
right
day.
with memes right now, but I can't help to laugh at them. They're so
Dude,
good.
it's funny, man.
I legitimately saved a fucking meme for this dude because he rides a bagger for like 2 weeks when he was going to talk about his bagger. And it was a sticker under a Dyna fucking battery cover that said, your Softail sucks dick. Or your fucking bagger sucks dick.
One of my best friends is FXR Mike, right? FXR Mike has made some of the best memes in motorcycle culture history. And it's always like he talks shit about performance baggers, he talks shit about FXRs, Sportsters, Dynas, everything across the board. And that's what's fucking funny about it. Is that it's
And now he's mobbing a Goldwing talking shit on everybody.
Every Harley sucks.
Dude, I don't know the guy, but I follow him. We follow him. And we fucking love this shit. And then he pulls out this fucking
Goldwing.
And you know what? I will tell you, like,
When he changed his name, though, I'm like,
Go Wing Mike.
dude, I'm like, I wanted to hurry up and create an account and take FXR Mike just so that I could sell it back to him later on.
Oh, man. I mean, it's funny, but
I've had 5 people, and it's not a lot, but 5 people have said, we need Goldwing Mike on the podcast to find out what the fuck happened.
Goldwing Mike, you have been officially invited.
he was just on.
Yeah, I know. I was like, dude, like I can't have you on that quick.
Yeah,
But no, it's Mike's dude. Mike was one of the first podcasts I ever did. So it's funny because Zombie here, me and my brother came down here with my buddy Mark from Texas Performance. We all came down here to hang out with Mike, and we did a podcast. I don't know if it ever got released, but it was like when we first.
That's our podcast. It's never getting released.
I have to release this one. So no, so we came down here when we first did it. So we did a podcast with FXR Mike, and we did nothing but exactly what we're talking about. We just talked shit about every bike culture.
Yeah.
We were talking about chopper dudes and their rings and their turquoise and shit. We were talking about Dyna dudes and their socks, and we were just like going anything you can find.
Boy, he's got his work socks on. I got ankle socks, bro.
Yeah, I'm an ankle sock. I grew up in the 90s with Jordans, dude. I wear ankle socks. But so we just did all this shit talking. It was actually a really good podcast, but it was like part of that whole learning phase of like figuring out how to do this shit. And then we did one with Zombie Mike. Like I said, I don't remember if it ever got released or not, but it was just fucking, man, it was cool to have like Zombie Mark, FXR Mike, or Goldwing Mike now. Like these dudes are like the people that helped get this thing off the ground, you know, whether it was stuff that actually got released or just the trial runs and the effort they put in. Yeah. So hugely grateful for those dudes.
No doubt.
Shit, Zombie, I remember getting a call from Zombie, and he's like, hey, motherfucker, you got to use hashtags. And I was like, what the fuck's a hashtag?
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I'm going to send you some hashtags. And he literally IM'd us a list of hashtags, and he goes, copy and paste that shit.
Yeah.
But then he told us 2 weeks later, he's like, you got to change that shit.
You got to change them. Yeah, and we're like, oh, well. So, like, he helped us significantly.
He helped us so much.
Yeah. I wish everybody was
That's cool.
as cool as you guys that can admit those type of things.
Oh, dude. We're just fucking nerds who ride motorcycles.
Seriously, like, stupid luck, good timing, great community support.
Being open-minded to the people that are already there doing things and allowing them to help guide you.
Dude, they've been so helpful to us.
It's a two-way street. It's like you're open-minded enough to listen, and they're trying to help because they wanted the same thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's like getting to the goal of like a better dude's rain like a motherfucker.
Well, dude,
I thought Laura was not coming.
I will
here.
say that like that shit at the beginning
You're
was
so fucked.
somewhat.
It's your brand new bike.
Oh, the soft tail's getting wet.
You gonna Uber home, brother?
Yeah. I'll park it in the
Like that shit was
garage.
somewhat intimidating when we first started. Like,
I imagine, man. I imagine it is.
like Don's gonna hate this, but like there's that mentality, whether it's true or not. There's like this mentality. There's this inside group, right?
It is, yeah.
And but everyone we've met in Houston has been so open to helping us. They want it to work. They want this to be a community that fucking comes together versus these scattered pieces that happen.
we all want the same goal, but
Yeah,
you want to vet the people that are coming in that way that you don't if you don't do that though, the problem is that some rogue dude comes in and does this, and next thing you know he destroys it because the guys like Zombie Mike, guys like myself, we've been in the industry for a long time. Not just the industry, we've been riding bikes around here for a long time in like the social environment, right?
Yeah.
So we want to see people that come in that help make this stuff better, not like push it in a darker direction, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No doubt.
No, it's true. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting too because you talk about the whole vetting process. Like, we do some rides and we do some bike nights, and this is just a funny story, just fucking off the cuff. But we went and did this ride out in Galveston, and we took this group picture at the end of it, and this dude bought this HTX Dyna Crew hat, and he was super fucking pumped. He's like, yeah, man, super pumped to ride with you guys and everything. And then one of our other buddies, Kyle, hits us up on Instagram, And he's like, that motherfucker was on To Catch a Predator, and he's wearing a Dyna Crew hat.
That's good advertisement, man.
No, completely not the direction we wanted to go.
And literally that video got blasted of this dude trying to like meet a 13-year-old boy in a Walmart bathroom.
So let's go on the record and say, fuck that dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, if he's in prison, fuck that dude.
It's wild though, you know, because
Are y'all the Illuminati? Y'all what did I open this podcast up to, dude? Immediately blame you guys for it.
At some point, I want to get back to the bicycle.
Can y'all
story
go
on the
near
bicycle
Chuck E.
fucking
Cheese?
bar.
Oh yeah.
The second bar that we tried to go
Yeah,
to
they
that
went-
originally wanted us.
Yeah, so I called after we got kicked out of Bobcat Teddy's because they didn't like the motorcycle look. I called this other bar called Henderson Heights, and I was like,
Henderson
Heights. That sounds like preppy.
Henderson.
yeah, well, I mean, it is kind of preppy, but I called them up and I was like, hey, we want to do a bike night at your place. We're looking at Wednesdays once a month, and they're like, yeah.
Have you seen Waco? Bro, fuck off with your bike night shit.
No,
Wait for
they
it.
were all about it.
Wait
They were like,
for it.
oh, we're so excited. That's steak night. We have tons of parking. You can line up bikes everywhere, blah, blah, blah. And then they got on our Instagram, and I get like 5, I'm at work, and I get like 5 missed calls from the same number. And so I call it back, and it's the manager of this place, and she's like, oh, I thought you guys were this bicycle group called Critical Mass. I didn't realize you guys were motorcycles. She's like, you guys can't come here.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
she said that.
the best part of this story
Next door though.
is that Liberty Station is literally across the street, and now it fills up so much on bike night that we end up taking all their parking at that fucking bar.
It
That's
was
cool.
It was wild, but yeah, I mean,
That's so crazy. Like like I said, me and Mike were talking about this earlier, and it's kind of up to us to figure out how to change the perception of the public about us. I mean, think about it. Like we should. I'm gonna contradict myself 100% right here, but half of us should be like, fuck them, let's do our own thing.
Yeah.
Until the only place we can go have dinner is fucking McDonald's, because everybody else is like, bikes aren't welcome here. So it's kind of like you want to like change the perception of the public to where they like us and they like to have us around and they want us in their bars and their restaurants, but you still want to have some kind of edginess to you, that you have individualism, and you are who you are, and you're not Chad and Brad.
Dude,
over there with your
that's an
fucking-
attractive piece of it, right? Is
Yeah.
to be something different. Like,
it's like, look, man, like I don't fit in with this crowd. I don't fit. I did a podcast with Danny G, and it was. I wish I never said a word on it, because he was amazing, just telling me all these stories, and he said that like growing up, man, being the skateboard punk kid was like, I couldn't be a jock, I couldn't be this. I was this guy, and these bikers and these skaters and these punk rock dudes were fucking the only family that would welcome me in. You know what I mean? And for some of the biker things, I think that it's hard for me to look at the welcoming in aspect, because I think we're all adults, and I think that like, we're past that phase of like being welcome. Like I have a family, you got a family, you have a family. Like we got laid already, dude. Like we're not trying to get welcome. It's not like I'm fucking 16 trying to get laid and find a buddy. You know what I mean? But we are trying to find people to enjoy the bike life that we have now in our midlife, I guess you'd say. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's just
dude,
kind
I think
of
community is important. Though.
yeah, for sure.
yeah, and that's why we have hobbies, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, like
I love my wife to death, but at some point I need to go hang out with my friends and have a separate
Yeah.
something to
And-
fucking relieve stress.
I had one good night with my wife this week, and I'm good. No, we
shit.
I love
you got a good one.
I'll leave that for her to answer. No, Cody. No, I love my wife to death, but like, the thing is like, I think women have a harder time finding friendships the way that men do. You know what I mean? Like women are just a little bit more territorial. They're a little bit more, competitive. You know what I mean? Like if one of you dudes, like, first off, none of you guys are hot, right? We're all fucking, you know, you're probably the hottest guy here. You're skinny. You're skinny.
You're the only skinny dude here.
Yeah. You're the only, like, you're the
You're the
best.
only dude that
Yeah.
looks like he might hike to go.
Yeah. You look
Bro, I thought that was a
athletic.
good idea. I was like, let's go for a hike on our motorcycle ride.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say.
Killing it.
It's awesome though. No, I mean, like I said, it's like guys are just like fucking whatever, man. Like if we have good conversations and everybody's chill, like we're good. But women are fucking a little bit more like, you know what I mean? They kind of have.
Sounds kind of sexist to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Welcome to
I'm
my podcast.
I'm protecting myself. I'm just protecting myself on this podcast.
Yeah, there you go. All right, liberal.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking with you. Fucking Democrat over here.
Yeah.
Beat your wife like a real biker, bro. I'm just
His Instagram handle's Progressive Cody.
you know what's funny? It's like
I kid.
you know, me and my buddy Zach, like we don't give two shits about politics. At least I don't. I think he watches like Fox and CNN every morning before work. But we literally, it's just funny in the shop to call each other Democrats. Like
I'm not going there. I'm not going
No, I'm
there.
just saying, like, it's not even like, not that we believe one
This
way or another.
podcast concludes.
I'm just saying, like, he'll come in like 10 minutes later, he's like, that's real democratic of you, bro. We're supposed to be here at 10. It's 10:15. The fuck, man? Like, that's just kind of like, it's funny to us.
I mean, we might have some group messages that have some shit on it. I don't know.
Probably so. I mean,
Yeah, whatever, man.
yeah.
You ain't gotta. All the Californians aren't coming to.
You ain't got a lot to kick it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm trying to protect you. You got to paint all their shit and make some money. Like, I don't have anything to do with California. I don't know.
Man, I paint helmets now, which come from dude. I'm getting London work now, bro.
No shit.
I'm so international.
So you're socialist, is what you're telling me.
Cody, knock it the fuck off.
I gotta shut up right now.
Dude, London, that's a trip.
Yeah, it's fucking insane, man. And it's insane, like talking to the dude because he's like super London. You know, like he has a fucking accent. I'm like, whoa, like this dude digs my shit, and he's in London, and he's like. He sent me his tins and everything, and he's got these notes on everything, and it's so fucking cute, man. It's like, no, it's just weird. Like I've never
It's
done.
different, a different culture, right?
Yeah, it's a different. They pride themselves on working with artists in a way that I wish most people in America did. Like, not that I need all the like, you're the best, bro, all that shit, but just.
Well, if you're shipping your fucking tins from London somewhere, you've done your research.
Yeah,
And
well,
there's a very specific reason why you've picked the person that you've picked.
so when I was talking to him, he was like, you know, because there's some fucking amazing painters out there in like Germany, Italy, you know, even the UK and stuff like that. But they're 10 years behind us. If that makes
Style-wise?
sense. Style-wise.
Yeah.
And you know, in the States here, like you could say that California does something, and then, you know, it's probably a 5-year span before it really engulfs the rest of the country in some kind of trends. But London is like, you know, or just the over there, it's like way further behind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're doing shit now on bikes that we were doing in 2008 maybe, like the style of paint jobs, the style of things they were doing. Well, flames are classic.
Flames are back
Never goes
now.
away, dude. Flames are
Flames
definitely
and
back.
chrome, it's back like wildfire.
Yeah, well, because Harley started powder coating every bike black, and now everybody's like, well, I kind of want a chrome now because it's not.
Dude, that Whiplash bike is so fucking
baby
dope.
blue
That
one?
baby blue with
one
the
is that?
chrome.
Oh, it's a lowrider. It's baby blue and it's chromed out. It's an awesome.
You have a picture
bike.
of it?
Pull it up, Cody.
I have Instagram.
Pull it
Hold
up.
on, I'm
Do I-
texting Kevin, tell him that we're talking shit about him on this podcast.
I don't have my phone on me, but it's
What's it called? I'll look it up.
Whiplash Speed Co.
I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Which
Is it whip or whip?
a whip whip it real good.
Dude, this one right here.
Yeah, they.
So that's what I pulled up.
Whoa!
It's not porn. It's just lashes.
You and I look at different things online,
Yeah,
apparently.
yeah.
No, you said whiplash.
Yeah, Whiplash
Oh, whatever.
Speed Co.
That's a Dyna, man, with a bagger pipe on it.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's a
Yeah,
It's a
we
clean
look at
looking
Dyna.
bike.
It's a shocker.
Are y'all 5 years behind us too?
Hey, you know what? I'm proud to
They
declare
also
that I
have
am not
that
a
soft tail with the FXRT on it.
Okay.
I am
which
not
I
a
might be eyeing.
trendsetter. I'm not a trendsetter by any means. I'd consider myself to be a fast follower.
Fast forward. Fair enough.
You know, like, hey, man,
I think we're all fast followers,
Yeah,
to be
no
honest
doubt.
with you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to do it. Bam.
But I will tell you though that that Dyna after I got it all set up, that shit was awesome. But that fucking Softail,
Out of
that's
the
a bad
gate?
bitch right there.
Fucking Softail rides like a sewing machine.
It is what it is.
The Dyna hate is so strong in here.
Dude, it is such a badass bike.
Just hold on as long as you can, brother.
Yeah.
You got a real man behind you rocking that road glide. Fucking fist bump from here.
So he's been laughing at me because I've been fucking working on the motor of that Dyna for the last
Nonstop.
5,000 miles. Like,
Yeah,
from
just
fucking
sell it, bro.
From 15,000 miles on, it's been fucking lifters.
Right
it's
now,
been
you could
everything,
help
right?
feed a hungry Dyna kid with a new Dyna. And
So
you
we're-
could step up to the next bike.
Yeah, that's what he keeps telling me. So we're at the ranch last week, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna build this FXRT Lowrider S."
This shit's
And
already sold.
Don's like, "That fucking Dyna's already gone. Like,
Yeah,
it's done.
it's gone.
It's fucking done."
The soft man, I think that it. You know, I was thinking about doing the Lowrider S too, but my idea was going to be the Dirty Dixie extended windshield on the FX or the new Harley quarter fairing.
Yeah, it's badass.
I love it, man.
But I
It
don't
looks
think you
so
can get
good.
those bitches. They're back ordered for a while.
So are the Sport Glide bags and
Fucking
everything
A.
else in Harley.
Those
Yeah.
Sporglide bags are bad as fuck.
Yeah, and so like one of my buddies from NorCal, he used to make a lot of parts back in the day, and he went to jail and he got out, and they're all like, "Hey man, he went to jail at the height of the big wheel thing where everybody was making saddlebags and stretch tanks and shit, and then he gets out and the whole industry is kind of Dynas, FXRs, now Softails and road glides and touring bikes, but more like short bags, not long and
Yeah.
shit." And he's like, "Hey man." Because he used to make jet skis and shit, so they do like really badass like fiberglass work. And he's like, "Man, we want to make a FXRT fairing." I'm like, dude, there's enough of those. Like, do something new.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, we think we can do a badass one." I was like, "Man, fuck that. You got to make a different bracket for all these fucking bikes that are putting on now. You have to make it wide enough to fit a bagger and a fucking regular bike." Like, dude, that shit, there's plenty. And the Russ Weirmount fairing, or however you say his name, you can't beat his price. It's good quality for its price.
what
Is
it
it the
is,
best shit in the market? No. It's pretty fucking good
pretty
for
solid,
its price.
dude.
Right? So I was like, dude, you know what no one's making that needs to? Sport Glide bags. You can't get them right now from Harley because they haven't made them.
back ordered, and they're so
And
expensive.
technically that's so like the inner workings is kind of complicated, so you can make something a little bit less complicated for like an aftermarket bag, but the mounting is simple,
Why
right?
did they fuck up so bad on the fairing, dude?
Well, what happened was
Yeah, that's Sport Glide fairing.
So-
God, that bike could be so good, but that fairing
so
is
you got to think
garbage.
like Harley has a 5-year idea to production plan.
Yeah.
So when the Sport Glide came out, you got to think 5 years before that. You had the big wheel craze was still going on, and you had a very small part of the Dyna culture starting to take place. So if you take 2018 and you go back 5 years, you're at 2013. Right, 2013 was a dark time for motorcycles, and I was in the middle of it. It was long bags, long wheels, and
It didn't turn for shit.
didn't turn. You know, but like I said, there's so many. I was listening to the Speed Kings podcast today on the way down here. I was trying to get in a podcast mode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they were talking to this really dope dude I want to have on, the Goo. I don't know if you ever heard of this guy. He's I like watching him and his old lady because they're like a power. They're like the Jay-Z, Beyonce of the FXR Harley world. You know what I'm saying?
Pretty
Like,
dope.
I like watching them. They're a dope couple, and they were talking about how like it's easier for people to get CNC machines now. Like they're financeable, they're affordable. In when I say affordable, they're still $50,000 or $60,000, but you can finance them and shit, right? So like you have more people starting to come up with parts and shit out of their garage. Like even my buddy Justin, my machinist up there. So you're gonna get an influx of a lot of parts, but what's gonna happen is everybody I'm working with Justin the most. I'm telling him, like, I talk shit to him. I'm like, don't make the shit everybody else can make. Make the things that no one else is making, right? Which is hard to do because everybody's making the easy things. So the only thing left is the hard shit.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of hard to get ahead these days.
No
You know what I'm
doubt.
saying? So I don't know.
Yep. Supply and demand.
Yeah. Is there enough pegs out there though? Do you think?
There's
lot
quite a
of
few.
goddamn pegs. But I
quite a
will
few.
say, like, when it was kind of cool to watch when Don got the Softail, like him talking to, we share that
Yeah.
IG page, so he messages people. He's always looking for something new, something different on his bike. So watching the guys that were doing these fucking home printers.
Yeah, like
that were
a
making
dude
their
3D
own
printed
shit.
some shit.
They're
for me.
making
Nice.
their own 3D print shit
Yeah.
and coming up with it
That's
and
dope.
designing it. It was really dope to watch, like, from the back end, from someone who has a Dyna where there's fucking production of 500 million parts, right? To this new Softail came out, and Harley's always, like you said, years behind.
Mm-hmm.
And even these companies can't keep up with this new demand. And
Yeah.
you have these guys at home that have 3D printers now that are doing this crazy shit and making shims to lift up their front ends and, making fucking
Yeah, the
All
grill
kinds of
guards
crazy
and like
shit.
my the crash bar that I have on my bike. A dude that makes rally cars and rally trucks,
Nice.
like big ass fucking rally trucks, was like, oh, I'm gonna make a crash bar for a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And so, like, literally through Instagram, I'm like discovering all these people that are making all this shit for these bikes because you can't get it through like drag or
Yeah,
through
yeah.
anybody else. Like, you have to rely on people that are just making shit.
Yeah, and the individual can kind of come up with an idea and put it into production way quicker than
Totally.
No
like
doubt.
Bassani is going to be able to put it through.
Totally. Like, so what is it? I'm trying to think of his Instagram handle. I think
can't
it's
even
FX. It's something Envy. He has the white Rhino Softail. You ever seen it? It's got the FXRT fairing. It's badass. But like he had an idea for some rims for his bike, and he shot Jason over at Chopper House a message, and Jason made these fucking Merc wheels. These
Yeah.
things are so badass. I just wish I could. I wish I could afford them. but like literally, I went to his shop to check him out. What's his Instagram handle?
FXFBS_.
Envy, yeah. But those wheels, like, he literally cranked those wheels out in probably like 2 months. And you think, oh fuck, we're all in instant gratification mode. We're like, I want my shit in 2 days from Amazon.
Yeah.
But when you want a custom wheel that's lightened and that has a custom hub and all this shit, you can't wait for somebody to produce that and design it and do R&D
Yeah.
and test it. But like, here you got a small shop in Stafford that just
Yeah.
ripped it out.
Yeah, that's the good part about it. It's like I think it's kind of tough because once again, me and Zombie were talking about this earlier. Is like you have a lot of people that are going to innovate things, but
Yeah.
the only problem about rushing things out is that if you rush it out and you put it out and it's good, you didn't have enough time to patent it. You didn't have
Yep.
enough time to own it. Therefore, bigger companies can knock it off real quick and own it, and you could be the originator. And next thing you know, hey man, that was mine. And then like you're going for, not that this has happened, but you're online with your 500 followers talking shit to a huge company in the motorcycle industry saying that they copied your shit, and they're just like doing the jerk off motions with emojis, like scram, dude. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well,
So
the
it's,
fucked up thing is that like I'm not in the industry, so that never even occurred to me.
yeah. Well, it's not, everything, like Chopper House, Jason, he's a solid dude. He's been around for a minute, and met him a bunch of times. I ran his chain drive. I used to run his pegs on my FXR, and I want to support Texas companies as much as possible. It's just consistency is the main thing. Is for me, like just like you guys as your influence of DFW or Houston HTX Dyna Crew comes out, like your influence amongst Houston and even the surrounding areas, it kind of warrants you guys the luxury of being able to, or should being able to get some of these products at a discounted rate, if not free, to kind of help test, tune,
You
and
mean we're
push.
supposed to get shit for free?
We buy all our shit.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I can hit this. I'll be right back.
It's a sticky place, man.
No,
It's
I think we're at that place where it's kind of weird, right? Like,
yeah, it's weird to ask for any of that shit, but it's also weird when you don't ask for it, you pay full price, and then next thing you know, you just made them $60,000 off their part.
so I think that's kind of the point. I'll talk about this while Don's in the goddamn pisser because he won't talk about it.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of the point we're at. Like, Don and I, and Don more so than I even, spent our own money trying to put these bike nights on, trying to make shit happen.
Yeah.
But at some point, you got to get to where, like, this shit has to make sense, right? Like, we're
Yeah.
not trying. No one's trying to make $1 million. Like, if we could fucking just break even, it'd be fucking amazing. And I'm sure you experienced the same
Yeah.
thing with DFW. It's like we buy a part and then we ask these guys, hey, will you do a giveaway?
Yes.
But it's like, okay, now the bars are closed, so you're buying beer for bike night, and everyone wants to fucking donate $1 goddamn dollar for a beer.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the night, you're not breaking even for everything you're fucking doing. And like at some point, we talk about the community, right? Like, how do you get everyone to pitch in? How do you get everyone to be part of it? I lost my train of thought.
No,
But-
what you're saying is like, you know, as like your influence grows amongst your community, like it's a very weird place. And, you know, in my opinion, you know, I know what you're going through, and it's really hard to try to like put a price tag on inspiring other people to do something that you love, right? It's hard to be like, oh man, like, because what happens is it's kind of like photography for me right now, which I love doing it, but I don't want to do it for any dollar amount, because if I get paid to do one thing, then everything will become
Changes the game, right?
it changes it, right? So in a sense, like if you guys did get a sponsorship or a check or free shit, it's a possibility it could change your perspective and turn it into something to where now it's a business hustle and not pushing the.
We don't want that.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. It's
We just want break even.
Yeah.
Like,
So
how
that's-
do you not lose money at doing some shit?
That's
like
the hard part about it. It's like you kind of have to just lose the money because it's a sacrifice, man. Like you don't have to do this, but this is the conundrum, right? You're either you start trying to take sponsorships, you start taking money, and then it could or couldn't, but it could potentially change you to start looking at this as a business and not as a friendship, growing, passion-based thing, right?
Or you're beholden to somebody.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, is it fair to say like that's the point we're at? Like we struggle with that. Like what's the next step?
So
What do we
maybe
take?
the hard flex would be like, how do you figure out how to get a beer sponsor? That way nobody's like out money. Everybody gets something. You know, Zombie's getting, you know, if he's hosting the bike nights here at the spot, you know, the sponsorship is this, the beer's here, the banner's on the wall, everybody's drinking this, or fuck off. And then, you know, like you're paying, you know, you're donating something for the cause. You know what I mean? But you have to train people to want to like, you don't have to train, but you have to inspire people to want to support things. And people will always support a brand versus they'll support an individual, which is also why like the concept of a DFW or HTX Dyna Crew is always going to bring more people together because they don't feel like they're coming together under one person's name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree. It's like wearing, you know, there's a lot of people like football jerseys,
Yeah.
and they don't want to wear another man's name on their back, though. You know
Yeah,
what I
any
mean?
man over 25 pretty much thinks that way.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, I'm behind the Dallas Cowboys or the Houston Texans. Like, I like that jersey, but I don't want to have a,
Yeah.
you know, name on. I can get that.
So it's a tough place to be, you know, and I find myself in between it all. And I think I found a happy medium because I do get sponsorship. I get paid. I get sponsors. I get a lot of things given to me. But I also still try to go do things and help inspire people to ride or go do these things or whatever the case may be, or just bringing people. This is a job. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Look at all this equipment you
Yeah,
got
this-
here.
this
This is
is,
like, this took work to set up. You drove your ass all the way
put it
down
like this.
here.
This computer, I've bought Dynas out of Houston for less than that computer costs.
Yeah.
And it's not even an expensive computer, by the way. It's like a $2,500 one, but it's like,
Well, diamonds aren't that cheap.
No, they're not.
come on, dude. I'll find one. I'll find one for the night down here in Houston.
Do it.
So to me, the only Dyna that I like is 9903. I don't fuck with anything out of that. Those are the
Really?
best Dynas.
99 to 03, huh?
Smaller bikes.
You like that
the
5
best
speed?
motor. Yeah, 5-speed, dude. Ask your Houston homies how it was with their 6-speeds trying to keep up with my 5-speed FXR across the country. It doesn't. The 5-speed is still gonna fucking haul.
This is my biggest issue with the Softail. We talk about this all the time. Is the fucking gearing on it? Like, I fucking rarely use my 6 gear
Yeah.
on my Dyna. Like, got fueling on it. I love the way it's set up. Fucking on a Softail, every time I rode it, like, you're in 6 gear over 40 miles an hour, and it just fucking feels weird.
I haven't ridden a bunch of Softails.
You can go rip mine real quick if you want.
Whoa.
I've ridden.
Ridden.
Dude, I've got a 6-pack on the table, bro. I don't need to be riding anybody's bike.
They sound like they're all full, though, every time you move them.
That one's a little. But no, dude, put it like this, like when people talk about 6-speed, that people are just like looking, like I did the same thing when I was looking for my first Harley. I was like, okay, what's the best thing to do?
Yeah.
And the consensus on the table is get a 6-speed. 6-speeds are better. Don't get me wrong, but people have been riding 5-speeds for 50 something or for 25 years before that, or 15 years, or whatever the fuck it was. I think it was 4-speed before that. And people, the Evo might have been a leaky motherfucker, but the Evo motor would take a bike anywhere in the country all the time, and that was backed behind a 5-speed transmission. So
You gotta carry oil with you. You're good to go.
yeah, well, good thing there's
Oh,
Walmarts.
dude, we ride with dudes that ride FXRs, that ride older Dynas, and like it's just talking shit to talk shit.
Yeah.
Like,
That's really all it is.
yeah. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of good
You ride a
fucking
motorcycle
riders out there that
you ride a motorcycle.
yeah.
You're fucking.
The thing is, so when people like me and Zombie were talking about, it's like, man, just get you I was thinking about a lowrider S, and I was like, I'd get a new lowrider S, because dude, get a 2017. I was like, I'm not fucking getting a payment on a Dyna, dude. What the fuck do I look like?
Fuck off.
We're gonna have a note on a Dyna.
I will tell you though, I have that lowrider S that I've done a lot of work to, and if I could go back, I would get a fucking Street Bob.
True.
That tank is badass
That
on
new
it,
Bob is
and
bad. We fucking talk about it.
it costs less, and you can do just as much to
Yeah.
it.
I might get a fucking what's the
Standard.
Softail standard. Get rid of those fucking spokes, put some mags on it, fucking do the motor.
Yeah, it's the way to go.
But that tank is awesome.
Or I mean, Mike's got a bike in that main room there's also oil all over the goddamn floor, but do what you want.
Yeah, that bike's I love that bike. I asked him how
Me
much
too,
you
I love
wanted.
that bike. It's fucking
I asked him how much
sexy
you
shit.
wanted for it today. I was like, I don't love that bike that much. It's a good bike, but I don't love it that much. No, Dynas are dope, man. I think they are a gateway drug to Harleys, though.
Yeah, for sure.
They're the marijuana of the real drugs.
So we were laughing. No, dude, we were
That's what
laughing.
Sportsters are,
Yeah,
bro.
we were
Okay,
laughing.
I'll
We were,
give it.
we were laughing today. So Kevin, who you were talking about
Yeah.
earlier, was messaging us. So we had a buddy who was up at Mancuso Central who was ready to drop 11.5 on a brand new Sportster, and we're like, God damn, tell that dude, do not drop 11.5 cash on a fucking Sportster, because
Yeah.
he's gonna have to trade that shit in
6 months
Yeah.
to a year.
fucking 6 months.
And
like we've
I-
all done it, right?
Yeah, and
Like,
I showed up at the dealership. That motherfucker is probably 6'4".
Wow. See, I blame the dealerships for not being able to direct people into a good direction.
Kevin
for
said
their
the
shit.
exact same thing. He was fucking like.
I was like, why? If you're a dealership and you see some dude come in and he has fucking, he's 6'4", like, why are you
Yeah.
gonna put him on the smallest bike there is? You know what I
And
mean?
I will say that, some dealerships are motivated to say, oh, I'll sell 2 bikes in a year. But, Tim is a good dude over there at Mancuso, and we sent him over there, and he was like, as soon as the dude walked in, Tim said, "You can't buy a fucking Sportster."
Yeah, Tim's super cool.
It'd be like a grizzly bear riding around on a fucking 50cc old-timey Honda. Speaking of Hondas,
Hold on.
this motherfucker rides a Honda.
Do you not ride sport bikes anymore?
No, my belly gets in the way.
I mean, mine does too, but I still ride them.
No, I every once in a while I'll see one, and I'm like, fuck, man, I wouldn't mind having one of those again. But, dude, the way I went from sport bikes to a Sportster to a Road Glide, and then I had a brand new Road Glide that was all big wheeled and stuff like that. And I was like, when I got back on Dynas and FXRs, like I started hauling ass again. And the last thing I do is to take the mentality that I have riding my bagger now and put that on a sport bike. I'd kill myself.
Yeah.
100%. I mean,
So I have my Dyna, and I have a CB1000R, and I love that CB1000R. I fucking ride that. That's my fucking daily commuter. I ride it to work 4 days a week.
total banker, dude. I feel like if I drove by a Wells Fargo, there would be a CBR
There would
out
be.
front.
There would be.
Hey.
Totally.
There would be.
That motherfucker will go.
It's,
Yeah. I remember when that
it's
first.
a ton of fun.
I remember when the 1000 is it 1000 double R. I remember when that first came out, because Honda had the 954 and the 929 before that, and my second bike was the F4i, like the good one with the double seat, not the fucking banana seat bullshit. And man, back in the day, dude, sport bikes was everything. But that industry, I could tell people how the sport bike industry killed themselves when it comes to customizing motorcycles. Because mid-2000s, they started to have a huge resurgence of customizing bikes. And, of course, this is after the chopper thing was blowing up. So people were putting big tires on sport bikes. They were painting them. They were doing all kinds of crazy shit. And then sport bikes started, back in the day, you could buy an 01 Gixxer 600 and you could put a booster motor in the frame.
Yep.
You literally, it wasn't a drop in, but you could, or you could drop in a 1000. You know what I mean? So you could do so much interchanging with bikes, and you could get the swing arm off this bike or do this or do that. And then they started changing the suspensions on these bikes and changing the parts. So aftermarket companies couldn't keep up with it. And it's kind of the same thing that's happening right now with the Softails. When they drop the Softail, the seat is different on the Street Bob as it is on the
It's so
Lowrider,
different,
on this and that. So it makes
It's
it kind
different
of
than
hard.
anything Harley's done. It's interesting.
Yeah, I gotta pee.
Yep.
You're gonna be quiet again? Broke that
We'll
seal,
edit this part
goddamn.
out. I gotta go get more beer. You want one?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have a.
Everybody just leaves.
Weird. You good?
I'm good. They all go outside or what?
Yeah, they're okay.
Welcome to the Fast Life Podcast, where we just walk away. I love this.
When are you gonna pick up the S?
I don't think I'm gonna get one. I'm about to go up to. I think I got a deal worked out. I'm gonna ride up to Milwaukee to a friend of mine's dealership, and I'm gonna do the new 131 in my bagger. It's Instagram message.
I got a 128 in mine. It's pretty badass.
The 128.
I got a 128.
Nice.
That dude tuned to a lot. You haven't gotten out?
It's 132. Oh, sorry. It's 132 and 140, like 145 torque.
Oh, damn, that's really good.
Yeah.
And Harley did all that?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, Mancuso did it, right?
Yeah.
So they're kind of.
On the
They built.
tough, yeah.
They did my bike. Like they did Olin's all the way around. They did a good job on it. I'm pretty damn happy with it. The only downside is that like literally when
It's a soft tail.
no, that's absolutely not it. But there's nothing more I want to do to it.
Good. Well,
Right? And so now I'm like, I got to buy another bike that I can tinker around with in the garage.
well, no, if you just put miles on it, then well, there's two things. Like if you just start riding it a lot, which I know you guys are doing, and doing stuff, then eventually you're just going to kind of get bored with it. And you might kind of shuffle it around and change certain things, you know what I'm saying? So just give it time, man. And just enjoy it, you know what I'm saying? Like enjoy what it is now, and then later on when you feel like you want to do something else, like fucking do it, you know what I mean?
That's
but it
the
sounds
hard
like you got
part,
a
though,
good
right?
platform right now.
Yeah.
It is a badass platform for Don. But like, how do you just keep dumping money into your shit?
You know what?
We talk about that shit all the time. Like,
So,
It's my
shit is
favorite
set
thing
up-
in the world, dude.
My shit is set up perfect. Like, I'm comfortable as fuck on my bike.
I was having this conversation with Adam Gould, if that's how you say his last name. He was one of the original people we had on the podcast way long time ago, early on. And I was texting. I was like, "Hey man, I knew you was moving out of Houston." I was like, "Are you still here? Because I'd love to just
Visit with you, yeah.
see you before you head out." He said no, and I was like, "Man, okay, cool." And he sent me a picture because he got a Road Glide, so he finally grew up at like 55 or some shit now. And
I heard he dropped that shit twice, though.
he probably did. I've dropped mine. But
Fuck
he was telling me yeah, it sucks, man. Like I love the bike, man. It just sucks signing that line at $27,000. I was like, man, can you really put a price on what these bikes bring to your life?
Nope.
No, you can't.
Absolutely
If all you had
Week to
to, if
week,
all
you
you had to
have
pay
to
was $350 or $400 a month to have all this shit, is that not worth it?
Yep, it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
like
agree 100%.
I never feel bad about any dollar that I spend on my
every
motorcycle.
$1,000 payment.
Where does it become? Where do you draw the line? Is it $1,000 a month?
There's no fucking line when it comes to a motorcycle. Yeah, no, it's man. I tell people like it's my favorite thing in the world. Like
Yeah.
so, to me, it's fucking cheap, no matter how expensive it is.
Dude, it's super cool for me to see Don, like, he's re-fallen in love with motorcycles. Because he rode bikes when he was a kid, and then he started riding when he moved back to Houston. Then he sold his bike and moved away, and then he moved back to Houston and bought another bike. And to just see his passion and love for bikes, like, grow. From someone who didn't even own a bike.
Could you
7 years
attest
ago.
to the
Like,
fact
it's
that maybe
amazing.
it's also being around him
Oh yeah, no.
that makes you want to be a part of this thing?
Oh, totally. Like I mean, this is my homie. Like
yeah.
even doing like organizing the Dyna Crew stuff, like we talked, he's been tied up with all this banking shit, with all these loans, trying to keep small businesses in business, and because of that, he's been kind of unplugged.
He's a patriot.
He's
Dude,
a
it's
fucking
fucking-
patriot.
It's brutal.
But because he's been unplugged, like it kind of takes the joy out of organizing this shit and everything. And like, granted, like people have stepped up to the plate and they've helped me do it without him, but it's just not as fun without having my guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just reality. Like,
So, you said something that really attests to me that I say it all the time. It's like we all have to figure out how to keep relighting the fire of motorcycles.
Yeah.
That's no matter what you do, it all gets old over time.
Yeah.
So you have to find a way to keep relighting it. And sometimes, like I was saying about like your friends, like pushing you to do this ride and go this place and do this, it's a relit fire. You know what I mean? Like you might come home and you're like, oh man, I'm fucking over these. I don't want to do bikes no more. I want a boat, man. I want a jet ski, or I want to fucking pick up fly fishing or some shit. You know what I mean? And then all your buddies are like, well, we're doing Laconia next year. We're all going out. And you're like, fuck, man. I gotta go with these dudes. You're like, sign me up.
So I've never had that feeling, but I have had feeling like, dude, I grew up on sport bikes and dirt bikes, so like I really like my goal on everything. I mean, I'm a banker, so I try to pay off everything as fast as I fucking can.
Of course.
So
I mean,
Dyna-
credit is fucking.
Don-
I can always earn more
Don
money.
and
That's what
live
I always
on
say.
completely opposite ends of
Fuck
the
it.
spectrum.
Money is cheap. Like, let's run this fucking bill
So
up.
like when Don was working on his bike, I'm like, I'll do the same shit as soon as I pay my fucking bike off. Like I'm not fucking putting money into the bike until I don't owe anything on the bike. We're just different perspectives. But then the second I built the bike the way I wanted, I was like, fuck, I really miss sport bikes. Like, I want to get back on the sport bike. And
You're the first person I've ever met that has a Harley that's missed a sport bike.
oh, dude, I ride the sport bike like that's my daily commuter. I love it.
I miss them, but I miss them at a point where I don't really remember what it was like to ride it. So I miss the fact that I used to love the lines of this bike. You know what I mean? My favorite bike of all time was a 04 Gixxer 1000.
Yeah.
Real angular, loved it, slam it. You know, like I used to do a lot of drag racing and shit like back in the day. And, man, I love that bike for that look. But
then you get on the Harley and it's so goddamn comfortable. Like that Dyna, you got the fucking seat on it. It's got some backrest. And you're like,
I wish, yeah.
I will say, though, something to consider, though, when you think about this guy riding a sport bike is the fact that he's very tempered. So, like, even though he has a
he's
motorcycle
mellow, yeah.
that will do 200 miles an hour, he will not do 200 miles an hour. Like I always say, like, I ride behind Cody because I know I'm not going to crash.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's always, like, I know that he's always going to, like, judge the situation, and he's always going to ride, you know, pretty conservatively, and I'm going to be safe behind him. As soon as I get out in front and I'm ripping, though, like, I don't have that same awareness.
Don's a
Yeah.
dumbass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love him to death, but he's a
Yeah.
dumbass.
No, it's a good point you made, man, because like there is a lot of responsibility for someone that's in front leading a pack.
Yeah.
It's like you're making decisions for 2 people or 10 people. You know, you're making a decision to change the lane or go around this car, or when is a good time to start moving towards the exit. These are things that you make as the front of the pack. You know what I mean?
And it's all about perspective, right? Like,
Yeah.
Mike would have a different perspective riding behind me than Don would have.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, Mike thinks he's lightning fast.
Come on.
Ka-chow!
I can't keep him.
But Mike did come off of a road glide, so
Yeah. I mean,
like,
he
we got
doesn't-
some. We got.
So he doesn't really ride motorcycles.
Dude, I'm gonna bring my bike down here and fuck you guys
Come
up,
on,
dude.
bitch. Let's go.
That sounds like a good time though, actually. Low key, we drag like Mike showed me the drag strip behind
Dude,
this
isn't
fucking
that
spot.
wild?
Dude, it looks perfect.
In the
We
middle
should
of
come
this
down.
area,
We need to bring
Lambos.
Dallas down here and fucking do some Harley drags and some wheelies and
You
some
could
fucking.
ride in the street out here right now.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. I am convinced that my crew parties the hardest.
Okay.
Can we have? Can you competitize? Is that a word? Partying.
I mean, we can try.
I mean,
let's.
I'm seeing like a beer
Everything
fest
can be a
2.0.
competition. You can make
We
anything
got one guy who
competitive.
have a shirt off trying to kiss you.
Yeah.
Hey, we gotta have that guy.
Yeah.
I got one of those guys.
Yeah.
I'm good.
You got one?
Yeah. But it has to be like a 7-on-7 or a 5-on-5 thing. We got to keep this thing, on the wraps. But I think I got a pretty solid crew. Like, the best thing in the world is whenever I see my dudes out at an event that I didn't get to make, and I see them shutting down the party, just being the drunkest people there. I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Wow. These dudes give me hope. They solidify my life. You know what I mean? No, I got, dude. I'm
Be competitive.
Bring them all down. Let's do
Yeah.
a bike night and bring them all down to Houston. Like,
For sure.
We got the drag strip. Fuck,
Dude.
we lit We poured gasoline on the street.
I saw that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That shit was wild, dude.
Don's eyes just got about this big when you talk about pouring gasoline. on the
And
street.
Luckily Zombie was in here working the bar during the entire bike night,
So
so
he
he
didn't-
didn't know any of it. Like, and he said, I started to walk out there and I was like, fuck it, I don't want to know what's
He's like,
going
"Don't
on
go."
out there.
It was a shit show for a while.
Yeah.
It's a good time, man.
But-
yeah, I don't know, man. I like the. Dude. This shit's cool, man. Like, you guys have exactly what I have, right? And your stuff's a little bit newer than mine, but it's like I understand how awesome it feels to like create this group of friends and have all this optimism about going
Yeah.
places and shit. Dude, it's fucking awesome. If you
It
just
is.
keep fucking investing in each other like that, you're gonna fucking do a lot of cool shit over the
That's
next
the hard
couple years.
part, though, right? Is to make that decision to keep investing in it. Don and I talk a lot about that, about like what is the next step? What does the next step look like? If we could get more people involved and more people engage in not just being there, but leading the charge.
So what I like to think about is like this, like my core group. So my dudes that originally started at the DFW-Dyna Crew bike night, and the guys from East Texas like Big Will, Cody. I like to look at my core group as in we're all kind of leaders. You know what I mean? Like Cody is kind of like the force or the leader of his kind of East Texas thing, and my buddy James, the banker, is kind of the leader of his thing, and we all come together as a bunch of leader mentality, and we all conform together to create this life that we've all built together, which sounds like I'm fucking talking about some gay shit, but you know,
You do sound really gay.
it's super gay, but we're bikers, dude. It's not all
not
fucking
gay.
tattoos and beer and titties. Sometimes it's fucking touching tips, brother.
That happens with the COVID.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mike.
Mike, stop trying to touch my tip.
Yeah. But no, it's cool to have a bunch of dudes that like can carry the thing. You know what I mean?
So then why don't you stop having the camp out way the fuck up in Oklahoma and let's meet somewhere
let's do
halfway
some East
between
Texas.
Houston
Okay, you
and
sound like
DFW.
some dude in Conroe that don't want to drive down here to do a bike night.
No.
No,
dude.
I'm just saying, bro. You've got Austin,
I do Oklahoma.
you got
there's a lot of
Galveston,
bad- let's do New
you've got
Mexico.
dude, you've got Omar and Rowdy House in Corpus Christi. You've got people in Oklahoma, DFW. You've got East Texas. Like we can all.
Do you
meet
feel
in
attacked right now?
Central Texas.
I'm just waiting on you to finish.
Central Texas.
So
bro.
here's the deal.
That's what she said.
Everybody and their mom goes there, right?
Where?
Central Texas to go party. The thing is, here's the deal. Imagine you live somewhere far away. Imagine you live in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
It's a long ride to Texas. To Texarkana is a grip.
It's a fucking long ride.
So you get to Texas and you're like, fuck, I made it. Now what? 500 miles to get to fucking Austin? Dude, Oklahoma, where we do our camp out, is convenient to everybody.
So you're going country.
That's central.
You're going.
You got to
country.
think bigger. You got to think bigger
Okay,
than this
I get
shit.
It, I get it, man.
Like the DFW-Dyna Crew has done a great job unifying Dallas-Fort Worth.
Yep.
Houston, HTX Dyna Crew, you're doing a great job doing this stuff here. I am only trying to create a venue so that you can bring what you've started here and what DFW-Dyna Crew did there to this spot and meet people from other areas of the country.
So how can we be more collaborative next year in advance
show
of
up and fucking try to party harder than us.
Okay.
it? I mean,
That's where the fucking beer
We'll
fest
just
is
bring
going to take
Kevin.
place.
The Beer Fest 2.0, bro. It's happening.
I think
next
Kevin
year.
was there one year and he tried to talk shit to Joe Kidd, which is like the FXR god, and it didn't work out too well for him. I was asleep. I don't know how this went down. Maybe Kevin should be here to give his testimony. I don't know, but I heard that he got shut down pretty quick on the talk shit about FXR's game. I don't know, remembering. But he also
we all talk
he also
shit all the
hasn't
time.
showed up in 2 years since then, so I don't know if he got shut
I
down.
will say he was the biggest pusher of us trying to get there this year.
He did,
and
but-
it just shit just
Awesome.
got shut down.
Yeah.
No, the thing about the camp out is that place is like the perfect place to do it. Adam Sandoval's campground is designed for bikers. So just like you're trying to find a bar to host you, you know how hard it is to try to find a campground to let us do what the fuck we're doing? So we have this fucking free range place where we can do whatever the fuck we want. We have a biker owned establishment that is allowing us to do something next to some of the best riding, even better riding than I think you can find in Texas. It's right there, man. It's kind of a secluded, separate area to you to do whatever you want, and more importantly, make friends from other parts of the country. Because once you do, though, this is the thing. Like once you make friends in other areas, then instead of looking at places like Sturgis or the Durango thing, you're like, you know what, man? Let's go fuck with those dudes from fucking Michigan, man. They were partying.
Dude,
Let's lead a group
that
up there.
to me speaks. That speaks to me. That's more than anything.
Have a
else.
place to crash somewhere. Then
Exactly,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That's more. To me, that's more important to build a network of homies that all like this shit. So you're looking for the dudes in DFW that like this shit, but realize that even in the nationwide country, it's still a small sect of a bigger world of Harley Davidson.
I'm definitely trying to go to Hawaii and like
Hey, fuck with
stay
those
in the
dudes?
fucking
Yeah.
Hawaii Dyna Crew's
Dude.
fucking houses. Like I don't want to pay for a
Yeah.
hotel.
I got you. Hey, the hard thing about that thing though is you have to also be what you preach. Like I've had to fucking create a couch or a bed for people that I don't know.
Dude, game.
So when dudes are passing through Dallas, I'm like, hey man, I got you, man. There's only been like a time or so that I've had to be like, hey, you know what? Tonight's not a good night.
Yeah.
My wife's
I got the
fucking on
Cody
her
lock.
period. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anyone can sleep at Mike's place.
Yeah, in his garage, it's got an air conditioner.
I got
Yeah.
my garage AC. I got 4 bedrooms in my house.
Yeah, and
God
he's
damn,
And
fucking boomer.
87 cats.
he's got a lot of fucking cats. So
Hell yeah, I like cats.
Fucking cats. Hey, if you see in my house, you gotta take a cat home with you.
Yeah, I fuck with cats, brother.
all right, so next year I guess that's the thing is camp out and beer fest 2.0.
Dude, I think we need to make I think that it'd be dope to like set it up to where like,
Well, maybe you need
how do you
some
do a bit beer fest? Like I know I've seen the
motorcycle
movie.
games, dude.
True.
With
I think we
beer.
could do that. I would love to like. We were talking about doing it last year. We were talking about doing it this year, the beer things, but this year was such a fucking up in the air of like if it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That we didn't say we weren't gonna do it, you know, at all. We just kind of like didn't make a big post. I didn't want all the fucking like super woke people to be like, you're gonna do this and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So we just kind of like left it on the table. All I said was like, look, on the podcast, I'll be like, look, camp out's happening. Show up. It's going to be a good time. You know, let's do this. People drove from Philadelphia, fucking Michigan, all this shit, right? And even my buddy Steve's up there in Michigan. He had people come from California for it, man.
That was wild.
Yeah. So I just want you guys to meet these guys because they're rad. And I think that it's going to benefit all of us for all of us to have homies. Because my crew in Dallas is dope. So we come down here and we fuck with each other and we have a good party. It's just going to make our fucking thing huge and strong and badass. And it's
starting to
not
sound like a fucking Power Rangers kind of thing, you know? Like we're
And Don just lost all credibility.
Megatron or some shit. I don't know.
No, but there is some shit to that. Like, I think my favorite takeaway from Texas Hills was really connecting with those guys from DFW. Like,
Yeah.
we can just call him CAG FX DLS, but we talked to him.
Kyle
Yeah,
and
we
First
talked-
off, I love Kyle or I love Kenny, but I'm
Kenny.
We were just
Kenny.
we were like, what? I just know him as CAG FX DLS.
I'm so sick of people making their profiles after their fucking VIN number Harley name bullshit. Like FX blah 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 blah. Like, dude, fucking be original, man.
I don't
Come
give a fuck.
up. What's your name? You better not be fucking Lowrider S Steve.
Yeah,
Or
it's
some
fucking-
shit.
I'm not even gonna tell
Smoke
you.
the shit out of roadglides.com.
Oh, I'm fucking you up in like 3 minutes. I'm so
No,
like first
but
thing I do,
like-
I'm riding straight down
But
here.
no,
line up.
like straight up. Don first message this morning with our little group that messages all the time. It's like, hey, Keg went down last night, fucking riding wheelies.
He went out. Oh yeah, he probably did.
He did on his fucking,
Yeah.
not on his fucking S that he has
Yeah.
custom painted.
Yeah.
Like,
Did he already went down? Or he got T-boned on, by the way.
yeah.
He got which
That bike is fucking rad.
miraculously
That bike is
did
rad
not
as
do
fuck.
that much damage at all. Like it fucked up its fairing and that's it. Dude, it was riding to Sturgis with us. Fucking immaculate bike, dude.
Yeah.
So nice.
Well, I'm hoping my S is the same way on the way to Colorado. That's how it needs to function the whole entire
Yeah.
way.
Well, it's a Dyna, so that's a thing.
But just getting to know dudes from other areas where we can ride, connect. It's fucking rad. That's what
Yeah.
it's all about.
So like, how long have you been planning the Colorado trip? Has it been like a couple months?
Couple
a year?
months, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work to put that big of a trip. But what's it like? So one of the best trips I've ever had with my guys was when Easy Riders went to Austin. Right? You remember that?
It was like a year ago or 2 years ago.
But it was January of last year.
Yeah.
So Easy Riders happened and we're like, let's do it. We all bought a fucking Airbnb. We had the time of our life. It was like none of us rode. We fucking carpooled down there together. We had just a fucking amazing time. And it was simple. It didn't cost us shit. And it was easy. So as you make all these friends in other parts of the city and like you decide like, hey, you know what? We're ripping up to Dallas this weekend to party with these dudes. Next thing you know, it's like, dude, this didn't cost us shit. We just created content. And I say content like things to do all weekend with these dudes. And we just had a fucking blast.
Yeah.
And when you do that shit, you create a bigger bond. Like after you do this trip, like you guys have done the longer riding together. So you have a bigger bond. You create a bigger bond with dudes when you ride far. You know, it means something more. You know what I mean? Like, I got dudes I don't fuck with anymore that I've ridden in California, but when I see them, I'm like, fuck, man, we did have a good time. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a good thing to do with that shit, man. Like,
Well, something that's coming up here pretty quick is there's the flat track racing that's coming up in Dallas.
oh fuck,
These guys.
that sounds boring.
Flat track racing sounds boring?
Yeah, dude, I'd rather play video games.
Oh, damn.
You like to watch people go in circles?
Yeah, I watch it all day long.
You probably
I
watch
think
NASCAR
you have,
too,
but
huh?
dude, I think you have to think about the difference. Like, you're in the industry, right?
Yeah.
Like, we don't have anything like that down here.
Not yet.
I don't have
Not
it in
yet.
Dallas
We have
either.
some shit coming that's being built down here, but we don't have anything like that right now. And
Yeah, I mean, I get the allure. I get that part. I guess the
this podcast is over.
quit.
Way to go.
I get it. No, I get the thing. I just I've never been a cheerleader. Let's put it that way. I've always been like if I'm not there doing
If
it.
no one's ever put you in your place,
Yeah, it's an adventure for us, right? We're going to ride up to Dallas. We're going to hang out with our boys.
That
Go
part's
watch
cool.
racing.
We'll party all night and then do the next thing tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever gets you out of your house, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you ask me, like, oh, you watch it? What flat? What do they do?
They go
Oh,
in circles.
dude.
You mean like on like.
just keep drinking that Michelob Ultra.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'm trying to watch my weight, brother.
Hey, no shit.
I'm joking.
The Michelob Ultra Gold is the shit.
I mean, dude, I'm not even into this, but they're just out of my Corona Premier nationwide. There's a shortage. It's a pandemic that needs to be addressed, but nobody's talking about it. So I'm drinking this fucking white trash friendly beer that's like. First off,
that's a beer of athletes.
No. Coors Light is the white trash king, right?
Why do I have so many in front of me then?
Bro, these are Ray-Bans on the beer can. That's not white trash.
We're gonna gentrify our beer. Michelob is like, you know what? We used to do dumb shit, but we're gonna get our life together. This is like the 35-year and up beer, dude, right here. It's like,
Yeah, it's like we're gonna make it the same width of a penis.
and Jace will drink
as
it.
I put it to my lips, I couldn't even like spit that out fast enough, dude. Y'all are crazy. Y'all should go flat track each other.
Well,
We just like to have a good time.
hey, maybe in a flat track you can keep up on that road glide.
Wow. So the whole reason I'm getting a 131 is because my buddy on his Softail like smoked my ass on this trip, and I had to like. We were at a fucking actually keg Kenny. We were all at this like one of the. I haven't talked about our trip to this back into Sturgis trip yet, but we were in this like one of the best places we stopped was this place called Rock Springs, Wyoming, and we all got this hotel, and right next door was a bar. It was right off the highway. It was like the best bar in the world. Fucking vending, like slot machines and shit, like people fucking gambling. And we all show up there. It's pretty late. We get as many beers as we can before they close. A fight broke out between somebody else, and lo and behold, some dude, Kenny, is in the middle of it.
Some dude, Kenny.
So
Fucking who killed Kenny?
yeah. So all of us are over here like on the opposite side of the bar drinking, talking about today. Like we just rode through Yellowstone and the Tetons and all this crazy shit. We actually did 100 miles in 1 hour.
That sounds like legit.
Kirby Road.
No, it literally happened. Like I'm not even like joking. We did 100 miles, but it was in the middle of nowhere. So it was like you could do that. So we hauled ass to this spot, got there, and then we're all like tripping on the fact that it just took place. And then next thing you know, like some commotion takes place in the bar, and we're like, "Where's Kenny?" He's like over there breaking up a fight, and it was the funniest shit in the world. He's like breaking up a fight, and then all of a sudden at the end of it, we're all leaving the bar because they just shut it down. It's like everybody get the fuck out, and Kenny's like, "Hey, y'all come outside and finish that shit." And I got next. And I was like, I was laughing my ass off. Who the fuck says I got next in a fight bar?
Dude is wild, man.
Yeah, dude.
I like him.
He's wild,
I like him
man.
too.
Wild, dude.
So I will say my favorite video from that shit. I don't even know a favorite video because that sounds gross. Tell me who the dude was that was getting his fucking nipples sucked on.
Oh, you're talking about Craig. Craig's the Florida homie. He's out of Florida. We met him at this last year's camp out or this year's, I can't remember. I think it was last year's camp out. So we met him at last year's camp out. He drives trucks, so he's always in Texas and always in all these areas. And he was actually in Dallas last week and we were partying. But yeah, dude.
It's like, what the fuck is happening in this
This
video?
chick.
This may be the grossest video I've ever seen in my life.
Do you like how his face like went from We've been talking about that shit. It's crazy, man. But no, dude, that's what it's about. It's about creating this like network of people.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, like Craig's trying to throw a camp out in November in Florida, which we're all trying to make it. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be a good time. You know, it's tough for us all.
What part of Florida? That's important because Florida is like a big ass state.
And it's all boring.
It's all boring, but that's the thing about all these things, man. Like all this shit's boring, but you know what's not boring is when you get to the destination and you hang out with
people
everybody.
are amazing, yeah.
So
Riding to Amarillo, fucking boring.
It's gonna be boring, but it's gonna be cool when you get there and you get you're with your boys and you fucking like start cracking open 12 packs and shit. You know what I mean? I think it's like close. It's like in between the Panhandle and the drooping dick of Florida. Whatever. What do they call it? A peninsula.
I think the drooping dick is a perfect name for it. From now on, it's the drooping dick.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was before.
Sounds pretty good, huh?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah.
So it's like it's a little bit further north than like Tampa and all that shit, but further south than Tallahassee. So it's not too bad for us. Like for you guys, it's even closer. Like it's probably a straight rip across 10 and then drop down in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
10 sucks.
But like you said,
You know what? You know what's really cool if you go through here? Like you can catch the like I was saying, you can find all these little different types of things, right? So there's an Easy Rider ride. So the movie Easy Riders.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Like
you
the
can
New Orleans?
through New Orleans and all that shit. Like that's, I mean, you have to watch it for it to mean anything to you, like relatively close to it. But then you kind of catch some of these things, like fuck, man, this is where this got filmed.
That's kind of cool.
It's better than just driving to the next Love's gas station stop. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree.
And you can kind of encapsulate some of this shit. Like, there's a lot of rad shit in the country that's like not off the highway.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to find.
Well, these guys are talking about how Amarillo's going to suck into Amarillo. And I guarantee it's going to be the best. This is the whole stories of our trip is going to get to Amarillo.
So are y'all going to Dallas in 287 up?
well, we're debating that now. I want to go to Dallas and then go to 287 up, but
No, I'd rather go back roads.
they want to go back roads. I'm like, fuck that. It's 700 miles. Let's just crank it out.
Yeah, you're gonna have a hard one. 700 miles, you know, that's gonna be tough to do it because it's.
I got a broken hip, bro. Like I got.
Come
You don't
on,
understand.
Karen.
I got all kinds of metal in my. I'm like the fucking part Terminator.
Your metal is stronger than any of our bones.
Now there's not a whole lot of really rad ass shit between here and there.
No.
No, there's nothing.
The story starts
Embrace
after
the
you get
suck.
So-
there, right?
Embrace the suck.
I'm raising my hand like in school right now.
Like it's not your goddamn
Do you
podcast.
guys listen to Rogan? Do you guys listen to Joe Rogan ever?
Occasionally, yeah.
All right, so I don't know if you have time for this or if you care, but I just had to throw it out there. So he had talked about this Indian shit. He was like reading books out, and there's this one called Empire of the Summer Moon. Fucking awesome book, dude. I ended up not reading it. I'm not a nerd. I fucking did the audio.
I read all the fucking time. Calm
There you
down.
go. So I did the audio book version, and there's so much history in that book, and it all starts between kind of here all the way up to Amarillo. And then even by Amarillo, there's a lot of shit that took place. There's a lot of shit that took place in Dallas, Fort Parker, all this crazy shit. It's a fucking fascinating book. And there's also, like, if you're going up there, you know, you got the Cadillac Ranch.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? There's a fucking Volkswagen one on
Nobody
the...
cares about Volkswagen.
No,
Yes.
Mike owns a Volkswagen. He probably really wants to see that.
There's...
If you're in the Cadillac Ranch, you can't bring your bikes up to it. You gotta park there,
Exactly.
you
See,
don't
he's
want to.
thinking, right? You can't ride your bikes up there because it's
Yeah,
like
you gotta
fucking
park and
a
then
quarter
you have to
mile
walk down
off
there.
the highway. You have to walk to it. This fucking other one, I'll show you some pictures that I ain't posted yet that are pretty dope. But
Like, you
there's,
grab me one?
there's some pretty cool. Me too, sir.
All around.
Jace has a lot in his all 80.
I got one beer if you put them all together. It's all backwash, bro. So,
Hey man, I don't like hot beer either. So.
I don't either. Yeah, I'm fucking too rich for that shit.
I'm gonna call James wow. It's like 15 fucking.
Oh, like 20 grand in taxes right now. I'm fucking rich as fuck. Fuck y'all.
Bro, I lied on my taxes so bad this year. I'm just
You're
waiting
so
for the audit.
Dude,
It's coming.
Hey, can I get this microphone up so you can hear?
Hey, my name is Cody Huggins. I lied on my taxes.
Man, it's
Don King. I got Don King.
Don King.
Dude, taxes are fucking scary, man. Like,
Yeah, they're
it's a
bitch.
crust. Dude, 2018 was like the best year of my life because I met all my closest friends. But it was also the year that I wrecked 2 cars, got a tax audit. My buddy's bike got stolen from me while I was riding it to Indianapolis. Yeah, it was a rough year for me.
Your life sounds like Don King's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm recovering from that still in 2020.
Yeah.
It's crazy shit, man. Do you like how podcasts start kind of serious and then beers get involved and then
Dude, I think that's the way life goes, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Did it start serious though?
Yeah.
It was a little bit more formal, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like-
yeah. Like, okay, this is gonna be kind of like an interview, and then it just turns into a
Yeah,
shit
so,
show.
like, true story, Don and I met up last night at a bar, and we were like, hey, if we're asked these questions, this is what we talk about. We literally haven't been asked any one of those questions.
That is true.
I'm not professional.
We were
bro.
like, surely this motherfucker's gonna have shit prepared.
You think I was gonna come here with a yellow notebook and a pen, and I was gonna mark shit out as you said it?
Hey man,
So, anyway.
we didn't know. We didn't know.
We're like, hey, we don't want to act like assholes.
No, dude, I never know what I'm getting myself into.
never know, right?
But
This has been fun, though.
dude, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun because I want people to feel. I mean, this is fun, right? If we weren't even on microphones, we'd probably be drinking beer and talking shit the same way, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I want it to be. I want people to feel like they're hanging out in this dude's garage right now, shooting shit about bikes, and that's what brings people into feeling the realness of biker culture.
As long as
know
you
what I
don't edit this shit.
I don't edit anything unless somebody's on to get fired, and I have to. Are you gonna get fired because you're a banker?
No.
Maybe that PPP shit, cut it out.
Yeah.
Nah,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Guys.
I don't like to edit anything because
Nah,
I don't
it's
want to. First off,
I think it's real though. Like,
yeah.
it is what it is. Like, Don works in oil and gas. I work in finance.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's not really dicks and blowjobs.
Dicks and blowjobs,
He's not
VD,
the double penetration like you thought it was.
DP.
Yeah, it's not dicks and blowjobs.
Are you
It's-
spilling oil into the Gulf, you asshole?
Yeah.
But it's but man,
That's what it's supposed to be, man. And you know what? Like, that's all I want this to be. I don't ever want to, like, I'm still waiting on a text right now, which I haven't got. But I'm supposed to be going to Milwaukee in 2 weeks to do podcasts, get this 131. And I say Milwaukee. I'm not going to Harley. I'm going to
somebody's place
dealer up there, a close friend of mine that used to work here in Austin. And I'm going to be talking with some of the people that work at the museum and other areas of Harley. And I'm like, it's nerve-wracking to me because I'm going to bring a 12-pack in there and be like, what's up? So, welcome to CNN, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, let's talk shit about Harley and shit.
At least take a yellow notepad.
No, dude. I don't.
Bro,
don't
put some glasses on, take
No.
a yellow notepad.
I put my contacts in for tonight, but let me. But no, true story. Let me ask you, like, so we all love Harley, right?
Yeah.
Harley has fucking changed like dramatically over the last year. So what do you see as a future? Like, what do you think's happening?
Oh, fuck. We're
behind-
getting deep. Right?
No,
I'm good with that.
There we go.
We're at 3 hours, but I'm good with this.
dude. I fucking love.
I
Harley
might have to
Davidson
stop
motorcycles.
this and turn this into a Patreon episode after that.
But dude, I love Harleys.
I do too.
And
I love
I
them to
want to
death.
know, like, I'm really bummed that they're fucking cutting the Bronx. Like, I was really stoked for the Bronx.
He's fucking gay, bro. I told you.
Don was really stoked that they were making that fucking off-road piece of shit. But anyway,
I'm into that, brother. Here we go. Hot tubs and
y'all
bikes.
can go fuck each other in a hot tub later.
Yeah.
Bag my ass.
Wait,
Got him.
I'm so glad that I'm not saying the F word in this podcast.
It doesn't fucking matter.
thank you, Houston Dyna Crew.
But no, I'd love to hear from your perspective. 'cause
I don't, man.
We go back and forth. Like, I think Harley's making all the wrong decisions right now, personally.
Yeah, I think that it's hard for us in our lives to understand what somebody on that level is doing and trying to create in a 5-year plan. Because if you ask me what I want to be doing in 5 years, I'm assuming the world is exactly the same. Most of our plans are assuming that our livelihood and our life and what we're doing, and you're hanging out in his garage and I'm hanging out with my boys and we're doing camp outs, this life is exactly the same for 5 years. And when you're in a company like that, you have to plan for the magnitude of possibilities of changes that could happen in our industry, right? Which is very hard to predict. And so, like, I give them sympathy for the fact that they're navigating it pretty well. We can all agree that they did a shitty job promoting the Softail.
Oh, awful.
The fact that they named it a fucking
Exactly.
Softail.
So
Like, they
that's-
fucked themselves.
They fucked themselves on that, and it was only because the bike was actually great. And over time, with people picking it up and making in the aftermarket picking up the bike and starting to change it, that it was able to exploit what is really great about the bike.
That's all I'm going to show you right now, and I'm going to tell you, this is how bad Harley's fucking up.
That is the most hipster silver fox I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, they got fucking George Clooney
That would be
look-alike on
Don
their
King.
advertisements.
Yeah.
Hipster Don
And they're
King.
trying to attract a new demographic. This motherfucker looks like he's about to go play polo, not ride a motorcycle.
They definitely ain't recruiting me for that shit.
You know, the hard, like, so one of the last podcasts I released was a good friend of mine, or becoming a good friend, but he is a recent recruit from Harley, and he's the brand director for Harley Davidson. And he lives in Dallas. He's a good dude. He actually is a biker.
Cool.
He's ridden Dyna. He actually just picked a Lowrider S up. Dyna Lowrider S, as gay as that is.
Hey.
No, but he's riding a Dyna, but he also is a chopper dude. He's from the Oakland area. I'm proud to know that the dude is actually a biker and he's doing shit.
Yeah.
And he's actually trying to help steer and direct the traffic at corporate, right? But me and Zombie were talking about this earlier, and it's like, when it comes to all the things that are going on in our country right now, when you have like the Black Lives Matter, the protests, the COVID, the best thing for any of these businesses to do is to be anonymous. It's to not give an opinion about things that don't pertain to their brand. Like, my brand is not, I sell Harleys. I don't sell an association to gay, to lesbian, to all these different things. I sell a bike that helps you
give a fuck, right?
Yeah, well, they sell a vessel for you to change your life with.
Yeah.
They shouldn't associate themselves with things that depict your life, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, I get it.
not that they support or dissupport it. It's not about that. It's about, look, I am giving you guys the opportunity to give your life a little bit more purpose. Maybe as arrogant as that might sound for a dealership to do, it's what it is, right? So when, Harley does this like post for gay pride or the Pride Month or whatever, and then you read the comments and they're pretty horrible. And I like to call dudes the F word, which I can't. What's the word again?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
I like to say that,
Not right now.
but I've had to stop doing that just for the fact, whatever, just for the fact, and try to do those type of things. But like, I get it from a perspective of a business like that, where you're trying to usher yourself into this new era. But the crazy thing to think about is that you don't want to piss off the only customer you have.
Yep.
For the fact of hopefully gaining a very small group of people who are small in number but have a big voice in social media.
In the moment.
Yeah.
In the moment.
Well, that's the world right now.
Yeah.
I do think that there's something to be said about the fact that, like, when I get on my motorcycle and I'm blasting down the road, I don't think about my family I don't think about my
Yeah,
job.
fuck them.
I don't think about.
I might think about my family.
I don't think about.
He's
I
gonna be
don't
in
think
trouble.
about anything besides like where I'm going.
Yeah.
Where my RPMs
checking
are
out,
at.
man. You're checking out.
You're fully into riding, and I think honestly, like if you're a person that's in one of those demographics where you're feeling like pretty troubled right now, like to me that sounds like a pretty good fucking place to be.
I think that's absolutely fair. Like,
Yeah.
So, I actually like riding on my own too. Like that lone wolf shit we were talking about earlier.
Oh yeah.
I'm probably the most
He
out of
does
our.
have a lone wolf tattoo.
No.
Show him,
Fuck that
Cody.
bullshit.
Dude, you got a lot.
No. But
gotta
I
be
do
a
have a
wolf
lot of
in there.
tattoos. But out of our group, I'm probably the guy who.
Do you have
goes
a
out-
famous Stars and Strap tattoo?
A what?
The famous F.
No.
Okay, I just wanted to make fun of you if you did.
Well, I mean, you can make fun of me about anything. I could give two shits less. But I like to go ride on my own.
Yeah.
And, like, goddamn, you totally cut my whole train of thought.
Yeah, you're fucked.
Hey, good luck with that.
Edit that shit out.
You're just you're just about to tell them that all the
you-
troubles that you have with being gay you forget about when you ride motorcycles.
When I pulled my dick out of Don's.
Oh, there you go.
No.
Bestiality.
That's not happening.
This is taking a turn for the worse. Let's
the best,
PC
man.
this
But,
up.
Good thing we're not
I lost my train of thought. Good.
censored from the FDA. or
Can we
whatever the
edit
fuck.
all this shit out? We're good.
Yeah.
Is FDA food? Or
Yeah, that's
I think
Food and
it-
Drug
okay.
Administration. yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's totally gonna edit this one out. No,
This
the,
whole 10-minute segment, just cut it.
no, I get what you're saying, man. It's a weird place where you want to try to tell people to like, look, man, try motorcycles.
Yeah.
But
Try
even
something different.
people that are trying motorcycles, like we were talking about the entire duration of this podcast, buying a motorcycle is one step of the next hardest part of the process where you can't throw money at it. Like you could throw money at a bike and you can have the coolest bike in the world. Like I was telling you about the dude with the stereo,
Yeah.
picking the Nelly song and then going to fucking Nelly Furtado after that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's easy to do that. But being a person that is likable, palatable, and someone that other people want to say, hey man, we're doing this, come with us, man.
Yeah.
You seem like a cool dude. That's the biggest hurdle that most adults, most people in general have. You know what I mean? I got friends that like I've known since fucking 5th grade that I think are the worst people in the world. Like you're never going to be able to make friends. Like that shit was cute when we were 25. Now you're just creepy, dude. You know what I mean? That's the weird thing about it, man. Motorcycles can provide a lot of people. I almost spit on you. I'm sorry about that. Motorcycles can provide a very like lucrative life, and especially like the friends that you can make in it could be the best people in the world. Like we've literally talked about this entire podcast. But it is you have to be a very vulnerable person to step out and allow those things to happen. And so you have to go to a dealership or you got to buy a used bike and you got to put it out there. And then you got to go to these bike nights. You got to go to the fucking things. You got to go to these. You got to watch that movie Yes Man and then apply that to your life and go do shit. You know what I mean? Seriously, like that movie is fucking amazing, man. Like Yes Man is like, yeah, you don't want to say yes to everything, but at the same time, like say yes to, hey man, we're doing a bike night tonight. You want to come out?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
No,
Fuck
that's
yeah, that
fair.
sounds good time.
Hey man, we're doing Camp Out Beer Fest 2.0.
Yeah.
You want to do it?
Houston versus Dallas. Dun, dun,
Oh,
dun.
y'all are gonna get fucked.
You're so screwed.
Yeah, you don't even know.
Dude, there's no hot tubs there, bro. I got you. I can
Bro,
fuck. I can fuck.
Don can't go.
I have
Don can't go.
BioFreeze and a hot pack. I'll be all right.
I'll remember that for next year's trip.
No, but Harley. It's hard to say whether or not what they're doing is right or wrong. Could you
It is.
think about it like this? Could you imagine being them?
No, I can't. Like, I was actually really excited for kind of what was coming out
Yeah.
in terms of them trying to generate traction in a new generation. I'm
Yeah.
a little afraid of where they're going in terms of. I feel like they're pushing baggers. Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
baggers.
Well, conform or
Dude.
fuck off.
Like, shut the fuck up. But no. I'm not hating road glides. But if we
Yeah.
go back to a place where we were in the 90s where you had to order your bike in advance, I do think there is a place, and Don and I have talked a lot about this with the the ranch and with Mancuso Central, like there's times we've walked in, like I wouldn't have put the shocks that are on the rear of my bike on had I not walked in and they're like, we have these in stock, right?
Yeah.
We can put them on right now. You can ride home with them, 150
Yeah.
miles away from home. I'm like, fuck, if I buy the shocks, you're gonna throw them on for free and I can ride home? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, am I going to walk into a Harley Davidson dealership and say, yeah, I want to buy a bike that I'm going to have to order and it's going to be here in 2 months and I'm still going to have to build? I just don't know. I don't know if we're in a generation that has that kind of patience. We're instant gratification, right?
True.
So I hear this new CEO who's fucking making all these changes and it's going back to what it was in the early 90s. I don't think our generation is going to fucking spin for that. I don't think we're going to be like, hey, let's order a black Harley that's going to be here in 2 months.
True. Yeah.
We're a different world.
I do agree to that. I agree to that wholeheartedly, actually. I think it's a very bold thing to do. But the hard thing for anybody to do to create a value with their product is to make their product less available to everybody.
Dude, it's a scary proposition.
Yeah.
I give him
So,
credit.
you know, I just had a dude, you know, like when I got out from Piston a while ago, a dude sent me a message that he asked me how much to paint a helmet, and I told him.
Can you
and
paint my helmet like this?
No, I can't. Sorry.
I heard you were going to paint my Dyna for free. I don't know.
So when this dude was like telling me like, you know, man, hey, that's more than he didn't say it's more than I can afford. It's more than he valued is what he told me. And so like, you know, to me, it's a weird thing to hear someone. It's weird whenever you like, I get 20 messages a day about how much to paint a helmet, right? And my helmets are very expensive for motorcyclists. In the helmet painting world, I'm average, 100%.
Cool.
So for them, whenever you get some dudes, they're like, oh, fuck yeah, man, sign me up. And then you get other dudes like, man, not worth it. I'm like, that's cool. Like, you don't value that. You don't value this the same way that others.
Yeah.
Some people are not going to value Harley the way that we value it because they've never been on one. So a dude that's never had a Harley before, and then they want that new Lowrider S that just came out, but there's only going to be 5 per dealership per year.
Yeah.
What that does is that makes your Lowrider S valuable. That makes your Dyna valuable. That makes all these other bikes that have been hoarded out in the market valuable. And other people are just going to have to go used. It's not a bad thing to kind of throttle back. But it is...
it's different.
It's different. It's like a change. And the thing about people with change is like most people are scared of it because it's uncomfortable. But it's also the most inspiring part of living is going through changes and readapting your life to the new circumstances that are there. So if everything's the same every day, I mean, there's how many movies, how many I decided to fucking screw off my family and travel the world because, you know, not everything was the same every day, right? It's an easy way to tap into everybody's like psyche. Like, yeah, nobody wants to do the same thing every day. You know what I mean? So with Harley, there's already a million bikes out there, man. There's enough Dynas out there for everybody to have 2.
Dude, isn't it crazy though? Like,
But at the rate that they're crashing them,
I was gonna,
it will be. Not from the wobble.
Don might have crashed one.
Yeah. I will say that I may have gotten a little heavy in the
Wobble
throttle.
through this world.
I may have. No, mine was just out of a bar.
Yeah, it might have been out of a daiquiri or 2.
Yeah.
But
Daiquiris and wobbles, bro.
Dude, have you ever been to Voodoo Queen here in Houston?
That sounds fun, actually.
Oh my god, dude.
I wanted to talk shit about it, but the more I thought about Voodoo Queen, dude, that sounds fucking rad, bro.
Oh man,
it's not far from here.
Yeah, it's not far from here. They got bomb ass chicken strips, and their daiquiris are on
chicken
point.
nuggies.
And Don has Rex coming out of there.
Yeah.
That was loose gravel, by the way.
Loose gravel, lots of alcohol.
Yeah. Hell yeah. No, I mean, like I said, the thing about, you know, the hardest thing about doing podcasts this year, you know, it's like nothing's going on.
Yeah, it's hard.
We've been trying to produce content, put at least 4 podcasts out a month, but it's really hard when the only thing you can talk about is like this local world. even though I have an international listener base. So people are like,
Are you trying to make us feel small?
no. I mean, it's
Dude, I just hope that there's like an Ohio Dyna Crew or
There
a
probably
Pennsylvania Dyna Crew,
Yeah.
and they're all like,
You
yo,
might
let's
as
fucking
well
blow this
be
bitch
that
up.
small town
there
back.
there is a lot of people that want to do things, and that's why I wanted to have you guys on, because like what you guys are doing is working, and people that like the type of bikes and the type of shit we're into, or just our demographic and age.
Yeah.
They need to be inspired by guys like you so that they'll start doing this shit in their area. And sometimes, yeah, the Instagram Dyna Crew pages might be one, but this might be a more intimate introduction into what it's about. Like, I mean, we talked about the Dyna Crew thing, right? But we really talked about friends, groups, inspiration with having friends, and responsibility as being a friend. What it means to be somebody's homie, what it means to be someone's like accountability and things like that. You know what I mean? So it's I hope a lot of people hear it, and I hope that it starts to grow. And then I hope in 10 years there's just like, it's probably not gonna be Dyna Crew. Let's be real.
Whatever the fuck it is,
Yeah,
it could
yeah,
be Softail
yeah.
Crew.
It's not gonna-
It could be
yeah.
Harley Crew. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
it's-
even
it's
fucking
gonna-
think it matters. I don't think it fucking
I think that
matters
the
to us.
Dyna Crew helps because it's like it's individualizing a small group that we all identify
Yeah.
with. I still like Dynas. I
It's
just
really
like to talk
about
shit about them.
performance, right? It's about
Yeah.
guys who want to fucking go out there and fucking run.
I think I think the best word to describe the type of bikes we like is purpose built. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
My buddy that runs
yeah,
that
but
purpose.
it's just such a fucking stigma, right?
Yeah, it
Like
sounds.
you can discount it, but it sounds.
It
fucking,
sounds clickbaity. Like this is like an all inclusive word to
Yeah.
describe us all. It's like to lump us all in the thing. But the thing is, like, these Dyna Crews is full of softails. It's full of baggers. It's
Yep.
full of people that like, quote unquote. Let's be. You know what the one common is between all of it? T-bars.
I would say
T-bags. Is that a shit?
T-bars.
no. T-bars,
They're
Yeah.
comfortable as fuck, huh?
No, I mean like this. It's the commonality between every type of bike that
And they
comes.
look-
but not
fucking
the
good.
sporty crew.
No, not that sporty crew. But they don't care about going fast or comfort. So.
Yeah, but they're fucking subhuman, right?
Bro, I'm just
They're all chicks. They're all fucking cool chicks. but-
honestly, I think what it comes down to is that people that just like to tinker with their motorcycles,
shit.
they're gonna see something stock and it's completely unacceptable.
Yeah, if we called it Millennial Crew,
Oh my gosh.
Shit.
Millennial Crew,
I would
or-
never be engaged.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's-
it's just like, I think deep inside of all of us, like, we want to create something, and you get a Harley and it's a platform, and you're like, I can bolt this on and I can bolt that on and I can shape this.
I think Dyna works because Dyna is a word that has kind of grown bigger than what the bike is. If that
Yeah,
makes
I
sense.
agree.
Yeah, for
Dude,
sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
We talk about this all the time. Completely agree. It's more about performance than it is Dyna, but people can relate to Dyna, and people right now especially want to relate to something that's been obsolete, something that's done, something that's different.
Yeah.
Like,
I ride a fucking Softail.
yeah, he's gay.
Yeah.
We know.
And we started the HTX Dyna Crew. Like, it's beyond anything Dyna right now. It's just like, all right, like,
Yeah.
we all want to hang out. Like, you ride a Harley, you enjoy riding, you want to mess with your bike. Like, let's all get together.
Hell yeah.
Period.
I like it. Dude, we got to stop.
All right, let's lock it up.
We're
Yeah.
done. Follow
So,
you
thank
guys
you.
where?
Thank you. No,
HTX
for
Dyna
real.
Crew. Yeah, thank you for
HTX
having
Dyna
us.
Crew.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
for having
you
us,
for
man.
fucking hanging out.
Thank you guys,
and
man.
letting
Like,
us
this is fun.
bullshit.
This
Yeah.
is
This
this
was
is
fun.
like fun.
We killed some beers tonight.
Dude.
Why are there so many
I mean-
beers on the goddamn table?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Well, I mean, your beers don't count. They're only halfway drank.
Calm down, fucking Dyna bro.
With your long
Because your socks are tall doesn't mean your fucking beer
I
is tall.
fucking dig it.
All right,
If you were
man.
my homie,
Cheers.
I would talk
I love you guys.
Cheers. All
You
right.
guys are the shit, man.
Yep, later.
There we go. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I had a great time talking with these guys, and looking forward to bringing the homies from up here in Dallas down there to Houston to party with them. You guys, please check out our sponsors, SimpsonMotorcycleHelmets.com and Simpson Motorcycle Helmets on Instagram. Paint Huffer Metal Flake on Instagram and PaintHuffer.com. Fast Life 20 saves you 10% off your entire order. Thundermax EFI on Instagram, and shoptmax.com, and Fast Life at checkout saves you 10% off. Lexin Moto on Instagram and lexin-moto.com, and Fast Life saves you 15% off at checkout. And last but not least, John Jessup's Team Dream Rides. Where's this fucking ad? Dream Rides John on Instagram and teamdreamrides.com. Check these guys out. They support this podcast. Also, if you want to support it, you can go to our Patreon, which is on our website, fastlifegarage.com. There's a link right to it. Also, for you guys that are already on there, if you guys didn't know, there's an app that you can get now for Patreon. And I want to start doing more conversations on our Patreon page and talk more about like what you guys want to hear, what we want to do, other events. So if you want to download that app, it's probably in Google App Store or whatever the fuck it is, or iTunes. Let me try this again. It's wherever you buy apps. They have one. It's Patreon, and you log in just like you would normally, and it's awesome, man. We can share thoughts, pictures, videos. We have a couple unreleased podcasts on there. Check it out. It's pretty cool. And we're gonna be back in a few minutes with another podcast. I'm just dumping them out today, so here you go. We'll be back in a minute.